Why did it take you so long to get your life together? TikTok. Jeez. Okay. Yes, we good. Okay. Um, let's get started. Hello, hello. Monty the Crab Queen. Pre-raid. Hi, Tanner. I have crabs. Thanks, Peter. I love that the heart me goes on Trump, but I get the crabs. If anybody has crabs. Hi, DF25. What about having crabs? Guys, make sure we're starting to tap that screen up, please. I appreciate you as we're coming in. Guys, if you're over there on YouTube, I know that you don't get to hear the music, and I apologize for that, but please hit that thumbs up as we're in here. And over there on Twitch, hello. Good morning. Hello, for those of you who are coming in from Olive's YouTube, I appreciate you being here. Make sure you hit that thumbs up button as you guys come in, please. I appreciate it. Hi, Dragon's Kelp. It's still morning for me, Chris. Key limes. Is it a key lime raid? Because, woo! Key lime pie line. Welcome in, key lime pie line raiders. Thank you, Peter. Really? Hi, Clippy. Chicky. I need to put it on a shirt. It's just, it has to happen now. Good morning, good afternoon to those of you on the East Coast. Happy Wednesday. I appreciate you guys being here. If you're over here on TikTok, please make sure we are doing all of the great things. Let's make sure we are tapping, getting those fingers moving. We try to get to 50,000 likes before the top of the hour. I've seen you guys do even better than that, so let's go. I know you can do it, unless you would like me to Dommy Mommy yell at you, which I can also do too. Make sure you are sharing out the live. You can repost it, add it to your story, share it to 5 of your friends. Don't spam the copy link, but you can hit it one good time. If you have not done your daily heart me, please do so. That is that little golden heart up at the top. You should see it if you are following me. That gives you access to the stickers if you saw where people put in the key lime pie line sticker, because that seems to be a topic of conversation again. I don't know why we are here 6 years, almost 8 years later. Oh my God, thank you. Goal! All right. And make sure that we are working on the roses gift over here on TikTok as well. As I put the little coin gifts up, I would appreciate it if you guys would do that. If you're over there on YouTube, watching on YouTube, please hit that thumbs up button for me as we get the day started. I will get the phone line up in just a minute. If you could just be patient with me for a second. And over there on Twitch, hello guys, I see you. You guys know that you are there. You can subscribe. You can use your Prime sub that you get every month to subscribe to me. You get stickers. You can send bits. YouTube, you guys can send super chats in case the chats start getting too fast where I cannot keep up with. It is a lot easier for me. So I would appreciate it. Guys, I have my 100 goal that I have every single day. This is my job. This is what I do for a living. This is literally how I pay my bills. So if you guys could help with that, we've been knocking it out and I appreciate it. So let's keep doing that. We can dollar train, $2 train, start working on knocking that goal out. Cash App, Venmo, PayPal, all in the link trees in my bio. Thank you so much as we get started today. Here is Workwave. Hello. I love it. I love it because that's one of the only subjects where it's not subjective. Like there's just facts and you can either accept them or be very, very upset either way.
I just say everything I know about oil has just been submerged by key lime pie, and I'm just like, anyways, I hope our friends over on the tube are also doing what I told them to do, which is make sure you guys also send super chats, do all the fantastic things. I hope our friend from New Jersey is also in the chat over there. Make sure you say hello. This is Monty, who I told you about while we were on the phone.
I heard
She's very informed, and I hope that you will also give her a subscription and listen to what she says, because she's very, very intelligent and very more informed.
Oh, it's my made-up job. Guys, let's make sure we prove them that it's my made-up job. Okay. Oh, where do we even start? All right, we're going to start with elections, I think. I think that's where we're going to start. I'm not going to cover elections. We do know that the Trump-endorsed Republican candidate in Iowa did not win his primary. He lost to a different Republican. So there goes that streak that somebody had put in the chat of the 37-0 primaries. Apparently that's done. Trump's endorsements don't always equal a win in the primaries. A different Republican won that. But you do have a man, his last name is Turek. He was a Paralympian, and he has won his Democratic primary. He's going to go up for governor of Iowa. Thank you so much, Peter, for giving me crabs in November. But in California, we have Karen Bass is definitely moving on to the general election in November. It looks like Spencer Pratt is also going to be running against her as per usual, but his votes were not great. And then it looks like it's not finished. They're still counting. However, what it looks like with the way the jungle primary works in California is you're going to have Steve Hilton, the Republican, running against Javier Becerra, the Democrat in California for governor in the general election in November. I would worry. Steve Hilton's got a lot of work to do because of the fact that Tom Steyer got a lot of votes. And also there were votes split between like 3 other Democrats and including Katie Porter. So those votes, if Javier Becerra can rally them, will get him exactly where he needs to go. So we'll see where we get to with that. But what I'm going to cover is some local stuff and the SCOTUS decision that I'm sure people have seen, if we get to it. Thank you for calling the stream. Can I get your age, state, and who you voted for?
Hi, my name is Sam. I'm 40, and I did not vote.
What state are you in, Sam?
Oh, I'm so sorry. Illinois.
Why didn't you vote?
I did not vote because when you look at like larger concepts, you don't see a difference, a meaningful difference in what Democrats produce politically and what Republicans produce politically.
And you're saying like with broad, big picture stuff, what do you mean?
For example, well, okay, so I don't like the idea of taking like facts about one party
Sure.
out of the context that produces those facts. So if you're going to talk about what Democrat policies are,
Mhm.
you have to talk about the historical production of Democrat policies, which means attributing the current state of things
Mhm.
to the Democrats as well as Republicans.
Depends on the policy and what we're talking about, which is why I'm asking you to get specific.
Oh no, I understand that.
Yeah.
I just as a premise, the current state of affairs is roughly 50% the result of Democrat politics. And when I say the result of their politics, I'm not talking about policy. I am talking about the overall cultural production of like our like the United States of America. So
50%
like
of what? I'm still asking you to pick a
oh
specific subject that you can attribute that apparently went 50-50 is the cause of Republicans and Democrats.
no, what I'm saying is like literally 50%, well not literally, but of our nation's history has been Democratic governance or Democrat
No.
governance. That's like a fact. It's roughly like it's over
No.
100 years of
Can you show
the
me a
history
source
of the
for
United
that?
States.
Can you show me a source for that fact that 50% of our history and the makeup of our country was Democratic?
Well,
Was
I don't know what you
Democratic
mean
rule?
by makeup of our country. All I'm referencing here is the fact that over 100 years of the last 250
hmm
have been the Democrats leading the
Prove
federal
that.
government.
Prove that.
How can I prove it? I can't put
You
anything
could
on your
show
screen in
me.
front of you.
No, you could cite a source, an article, a study that shows me where it was a majority held over the last 100 years. Democratic
I don't know.
hold on, Democratic
Yeah, sorry.
presidential administration or the Congress, which changes every 2 years. You would have to show me that it was majority Democratic.
I mean, I don't. This is weird. You can just Google,
No, you
how many
can. Yeah,
years.
you can. So go ahead and do that. Google that and find me a source for it.
Oh, what? Okay, so just I'll Google. But granted, it's true. How
No,
does that impact your opinion?
it doesn't because I don't believe it until I am shown that.
Well, again, I can't show
And my
you it. I can
opinion
just
on what?
tell
And
you.
and my opinion on what? You have yet to define a metric. Are you talking about social cultural issues? Are you talking about healthcare? Are you talking about the economy? Are you talking about foreign policy? You have yet to pick a specific subject that they've been 50-50 on that we're trying to now bring in the Democrats specifically. It's interesting that you don't want to critique the Republicans yet. But you have yet to pick a specific subject. Now, you can still go Google that because I don't want to argue on a false premise.
Yeah, no, that's totally fine. I'm just trying to establish the premise, so I haven't gotten past it yet. Excuse me. Let me find a source for you though. I was just trying to move the conversation so you wouldn't have dead air while I'm Googling.
Sure, but I'm totally fine with dead air. I will just a lot of the times what I'll do is I'll mute myself for you and just tell my chat to do the good things that they know they need to do. And it's fine. I don't mind. I'm a content creator that does not give a fuck about having dead air as long as we are having conversations based off of factual evidence.
Sure. All
My
right.
chopped liver?
In
The fuck are
history,
you
how
talking
long have the
about?
Democrats controlled the presidency in history? That'll be the first one, just to see. I was wrong. 85 years of the presidency. I am sorry. So, what is that? A third? Okay.
85 years of the presidents that we've had have been of 250 years, 85 of the years have been Democratic presidents.
Yeah.
Now, then you would have, where did you get the source from?
Sorry. Let me find the link. It says govtrack.us.
Let's see,
There's also a
GovTrack.
White House Historical Association that's listed on there too.
Now, let's see, I'm going to look it up. Are you then factoring in the ideology behind that political affiliation? Because Andrew Jackson was a Democrat, but was he a progressive or was he a conservative?
No, for sure. I don't
Okay.
have any particular opinions
Right, but then
on
there's going to
Andrew
be a
Jackson.
but then there's going to be a difference between the title, the label. I myself am a registered independent, but that doesn't mean anything to my actual ideology or what I believe in or what I want to see for this country. So Andrew Jackson, being who he was a conservative, calling him a Democrat and saying that that is leading us to whatever specific subject you're hopefully eventually going to get to of why we are where we are. We have to be honest about progressive versus conservative then.
For sure.
Okay.
All I'm trying to do with this premise is establish the fact that Democrats are not majority responsible, but they are responsible for the current constitution of affairs. They are one
What
of the
affairs?
major forces of the United States in general. I'm still making the general premise.
I don't want
okay?
I know, but that's, to me, that's dead air. I don't want the general premise. I want you to dig into it. Get underneath the surface. Which piece? Economy, healthcare, issues with social cultural, like what aspect?
We can't dig past the premise if you can't agree with what I'm working from. That's not a meaningful conversation. So I'm trying
How
to
am
get
I going
somewhere
to no,
meaningful.
how am I going to agree that they are at least 50-50 culpable in what the country is if I don't know what subject we're talking about? I'm not going to agree to a broad umbrella when that might not be true with healthcare. That might not be true with the economy. Why would I do that? That's false. That's a false premise to abide by. I'm not going to give two wings of the same bird, two girls in the same cup. I'm not going to do that. We're going to get into the minutia of the situation.
Okay, so we can drop the 50%.
Cool.
So how about a minimum of recognizing the party as culpable for the historical production, the production of history leading us to this point? They are a part of what constitutes what we have today, correct?
Oh my God, yeah. The Democratic and the Republican Party are both a part of our political system to get us to where we are today. Okay, great.
Well, okay, so I'm going to correct you there, if you don't mind. Actually, that was like aggressive. I apologize.
Okay.
The Democrat and Republican Party are not a part. We can say that they are the meaningful whole of our politics. We don't have a politics beyond them.
Yes.
Okay, cool. So when we talk about we have now, the current state of affairs, we cannot say that the Democrats are not responsible for their part in producing the current state of affairs. And when I say this, I don't just mean their proposed policies or the policies that they pass. I'm referring to the public's willingness to take up their positions, their failure to appeal to the masses. That is the Democrats' responsibility, no?
And Republicans. I don't know why we keep...
I apologize.
Okay.
I'm just saying Democrat.
Well, then include them. If you're then include them, because you do not seem to want to get specific. I don't know if you don't know how, or you just refuse to.
Okay, that's insulting. I don't know why you're insulting me.
Because you're acting like this is like poli-sci 101. I do not need it explained to me how the political system works. You are in a space where I, as a content creator, as a political content creator, pay attention and I criticize the representatives. I don't care what their political affiliation is. So I would like to get to the fact that you are a non-voter, the reason why you're a non-voter, and we can't get past this premise of the Democrats and Republicans did some shit and now we're here. Like, can we get to something?
That was the original premise, except it was more specific. So I'm glad that we can agree on a more general form of the premise. That's cool. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
So why is it that I should expect democratic policies today that have historically shown completely ineffective and incapable of appealing to the masses? Why is it that think the practical or pragmatic... I'm sorry?
Which ones? Now we're talking policy. Which ones?
Okay, and again, I'm not referring to a particular policy.
I want you to. You said we need to recognize that democratic policy has not appealed to what the majority or whatever words you just used. Which policy?
Sorry, excuse me. No, policy was the wrong word. I apologize. I see voters not voting for Democrats because of the real experiences they have that contradict the language that Democrats use to appeal to those voters when I don't know, in their polemics. You know what I'm saying?
No, I
Like,
don't. You need to be more specific. Like what?
okay, so do you know what percentage of the population actually votes and for which parties they vote for? I'm actually not familiar. This is not a gotcha.
It's not even half the last time I looked,
Yeah,
if I remember right.
it's super duper low.
Mhm.
And so my question is, that should tell you people don't in mass support the Democrats, even if they're saying things
Why
that
aren't you
are
including
agreeable.
Republicans with that? If there are so many people who do not vote, they are not voting for either Democrats or neither Democrats nor
That's true.
Republicans. So then stop just including Democrats unless you're going to get into the minutia of Democrat either policies, stances, campaign ads, so that we can actually fucking critique it. It is getting very, very frustrating. But I have a friend who has a question. Can you name 3 Democratic and 3 Republican policies that you like? Instead of critiquing.
Ooh, I can't name any Republican policies that I like. So
Okay.
you win there.
It's not, no, I'm not
Um,
trying to win. I
oh,
just am
sorry,
trying to have
sorry,
a
sorry.
conversation. No, you're fine. I get that's not what you meant by that.
So the
I'm
reason I'm not referencing Republicans is because I'm not talking to Republicans right now. Why
I'm
would
not
I
a
talk to
Democrat.
people
You're not
who aren't
talking
in
to
the
a Democrat
Oh,
either. I am a registered
I'm sorry.
independent.
Okay, so well, if you're an independent,
Mhm.
do you actually vote Republican?
Sometimes I have voted to retain Republican judges after I've looked at their record. For the most
Oh,
part,
wow.
I vote Democratic because I vote for progressive policy.
No, sure. Gotcha. Okay, well then, I mean, I just a shorthand. The Democrat was just shorthand for someone who votes for Democrat things. So
Sure,
I know
because
you're an
unfortunately
independent.
we are
Sure.
locked into a 2-party system, and until we can vote for progressive candidates that lean towards ranked choice voting, we are in this right now.
Sure, I got
Mm-hmm.
you. So how do you expect Democrats to actually get their, the billionaires that support the Democrat Party to
Sure.
do that? I don't know how that works.
Well, the thing is, it's going to be difficult. I'm not going to say that it's not capitalism, and the fact that we have Citizens United and what that allows corporations to do, is a fucking
Right.
problem. And so well, the best thing that we can do right now is to vote specifically at the local level, but upwards to find progressive candidates that might have to run on the Democratic ticket because of how the states work and how they run their elections. But they're progressive, where you have people like Bernie Sanders was kind of one of the bigger starters of it that we know of, in AOC, Mamdani, people that, Graham Plattner, like people speaking out against these oligarchs that are going to work at even your city council level and upwards to get that push
Sure.
forward, because it's popular with the people. It is.
Yeah. So what my immediate next response is, I don't love, to be honest, because just orthodox Marxism. And I'm not saying this ironically.
No, you're fine.
You read the Gotha program. Marx was against state institutions that were supposed to be people's institutions. Sorry, that was a complete aside. I apologize.
No, you're totally fine. I get it.
So capital flight then. How do you stop capital flights once people that piss off the billionaires are there? How do you stop them from destroying literally any community like they always have? I mean, sorry, that was bad framing.
No, they have. I mean, no,
untraceable.
you're
I'm
not
sorry.
wrong. Like, you're not wrong. Right now, we're in like late stage, end stage capitalism. So it's gotten so much worse and so much more in your face than it used to be. But I mean, what I would say is that we have to. Here's my thing. Me personally, I completely agree with the idea that you cannot vote yourself out of oppression. I agree with that. However, I see voting as a tool, and it's a tool that I'm going to use because they are trying to take it away, which means they're scared of it. So what that means is I want to vote for policies and politicians and candidates that are pushing for ending things like Citizens United, that are pushing for restrictions on what these corporations can do. Now, is that my perfect ideal? No, I hate even the idea of regulated capitalism, because then we're just pendulum swinging back and forth. But for now, that is better than the entire system fucking falling apart and people continually having harm.
So I would say that that's like what did Marx call them? The petty landowners
Sure.
in France that resisted revolution
Mhm.
or socialism. The whole point is that like the investment is the system that is oppressive.
No, I
And
understand
like
that. Yeah.
okay, for sure.
No, I understand that. I'm just saying if it's
I don't see. Yeah, sorry. Go ahead.
no, you're okay. Like I'll just repeat myself. If it's a tool they're actively trying to take away from the people, it's because they're kind of abiding by it right now. But I understand what you're saying. I understand that from the leftist, whether I hate the labels, right? But like, people who call themselves socialists or communists. There's and people, unfortunately, the right hears communism and they freak out and they don't understand. There's an umbrella of communism. I personally like to research about council communism, so there's different kinds of things. But this idea, my concern is that I hear a lot on the left is about this idea of revolution, but I don't see a lot of planning to be able to get it done. And I don't see what the structure is and the foundation is to build back up after the fact. And my concern is that people will get harmed. But I also understand that it's very difficult for people. That's why capitalism does what it does. People don't like being uncomfortable. And to do that kind of overthrow of the system, you have to be okay with being uncomfortable.
Yeah, I'm a bit black-pilled on the electoralism, if we're being honest.
No, yeah, I understand that. I understand where you're coming from. I just think that on a local level, I think you should look at grassroots and kind of like see that. There was another question. What would it take to convince you to vote in the midterms?
What would it take to convince me to vote in the midterms? All right, so this is a big part of what I was originally getting at was the premise of the responsibility that the parties have for the current state of affairs.
Sure.
And a part of what constitutes that is the relation to the people, like the polis and its people.
Sure. Like, are they gauging the temperature of the population?
Well, okay, two things reminded me of. I got a super spicy one if you want. But to your thing about voting, I don't see voting as a tool of fighting oppression. When you say that, oh, sorry, not I heard you earlier, and I'm sorry, I didn't mean to phrase it exactly that way.
You're okay.
As a tool of progress, as something that is preserving. If it is preserving anything, it is preserving the oppression. And I understand that, like, we can talk about particulars that come and go, but there's nothing that is counter to the mandate of capital. And I don't see voting as ever changing that. And what determines the state of affairs is capital. So you can't take the party of capital and then or the parties, of capital and expect people to take this up in good faith. I think it's plainly obvious to everyone that it's all bullshit. And my problem with it all is that like it seems like it should be so easy to get people to just say no and agree about common sense things. Like I called the other channel earlier.
Then no in what way? Like what would be, not to cut you off, but no in what way? What would be that first step? Is it not voting? Because that's not going to matter, because then the oligarchs on whatever party are going to keep getting elected. Is it not paying income tax? But how do you get enough of a consensus to be able to do that? We can't even get a damn general strike to work because, again, people are so oppressed under the boot of capitalism that they have to feed their families. I'm a mother of 2 children. Like, I can't afford not to do that and be uncomfortable. That is the difficult thing about this late stage capitalism right now.
So my particular thing that I enjoy learning about is phenomenology. Are you familiar with who Frantz Fanon is? He's a pretty big guy.
I'm not. I'll write it down, though.
He wrote Wretched of the Earth and Black Skin, White Masks. He's like one of the most famous anti-colonialist philosophers of the 20th century. So I'll just jump to the spicy one, if you don't mind, because I don't really have anything more to say about electoralism. I feel like we kind of beat that one.
So then what I would say is that as of right now, there's nothing that would get you to vote in the midterms, even for harm reduction.
Okay, so sorry. Let me just clarify. like, for example, one of the bits of rhetoric that I really enjoy employing because it really puts a spotlight on how just absolutely ghoulish the average progressive position is that voting for Democrats, like the current state of affairs, is that poor people live 10 to 15 years less than their wealthy counterparts.
Mm-hmm.
That's just a fact. Across the entire freaking country, hundreds of millions
Right.
of lives. You know, there's destitution everywhere, all over the place. People are struggling. So when they hear these claims from people who have put them in this situation, they have actively constituted the politics.
But
that
how did they?
created this.
That's the specifics I was talking about. How did they put them in that situation?
By failing to appeal to the voters.
No, not necessarily. Like that is understanding the system where you have people like progressive candidates that are putting in policies that are meant to help the people and having Republicans block it or Republicans sue it to the courts, which then the courts, you have to go through the different court systems so you get to a conservative court that strikes it down. Like people are fighting for the people, certain candidates. I'm not going to claim the entire Democratic Party, obviously, but like there are politicians that are fighting for the people and for harm reduction for the people, and they are getting stopgapped and walled out. And so that's where I think we have to push to help those people. Unfortunately, they are stuck too. They kind of are stuck having to have to play the game of capital until we can get to a place where we can get rid of it.
It's a failure of institution, and electoralism is the mechanism that we validate institutions by. That's pretty much what it is for me. It's voting is saying that I agree with the pursuance of history as it is. It is not a radical departure from the status quo.
So then you're not going to vote. There's nothing that could convince you. And I'm not trying to admonish you for that. I'm just asking.
No, I got you. So what I was saying about the 10 to 15 years thing, if I were to hear Democrats say things like that, I would know that it is unequivocal that their intent is to do something radical, because that kind of language only implies a radical departure from the status quo. There are
candidates that do. That's my thing, is then look for candidates that talk about that talk about the wealth disparity, that talk about the wage gap, that talk about people in poverty. Like, look for those candidates. They exist. You just have to pay attention to them. AOC does this all the time. Granted, you and I cannot vote for her because she's not in our state, but you know.
Well, see, again, I don't see the problem as participation. I see the problem as the institution.
No, I agree. I totally understand that. I understand that. And that's what I'm saying. For me, voting is a baby step that's not enough. And I will be completely agree with you in that it's not enough that to vote. However, they're trying to take it away because they know that it is a way to kind of slowly sledgehammer at what they have built and what they are doing. And so they wouldn't take it away if they thought that it was something that wasn't working. So that's why I'm saying, like, I use it as simply that. I'm not sitting here thinking that I'm going to get some beautiful socialist utopian society, which even then nobody would call socialism and communism utopia if they do their being dishonest. But, call it this utopian society by voting. I'm not saying we're going to get that on a voting. I'm saying it as a tool to help. Like, do everything on the front end with trying to get people to strike, trying to get people to do things together as a community, but also use voting at the back end. Like, give yourself every avenue possible.
When you talk about AOC and the particulars around Donnie that might agree with what I'm saying, and there are many points that do agree with many of the things that I say, don't get me wrong, those are individuals within the system that does not allow it. Like, you can't expect people to have faith in a system.
But that's how it starts. Don't let them fail. Don't let them fail because the system wants them to fail. That's not helping. Promote those people because of how... But they are popular.
Sorry.
They are popular. They are running on populist policies that the people like. So push that. Show, which they are. They are showing that. Like, not necessarily AOC as much now, I will say that, but like Mom Donnie specifically, like the way that the DNC was like washing their hands of it and actually promoting fucking Cuomo, which was insane, over Mamdani, who was so popular. Like, that just shows that, yes, the DNC is going to have to fix their shit or they're gonna fail. And that's fine. I'm fine with them failing because it shows
But if
where
they
the people are
that's
at.
Mamdani. If they fail, that's Mamdani failing too, though.
It's not.
Like,
Mamdani
it's
won
not
in spite of them.
No, I get it. But Mamdani is a Democrat, no?
He describes himself as a democratic socialist in his...
Sure. Well, I'm just saying, like, his actual, like, political affiliation
Yes,
in the
because we
state
are stuck
is-
in a two-party system where it's very... And even some states,
Sure.
like, I'm very lucky. In my state, I can register as an independent, and when the primary ballots come in, actually in the next couple weeks, I will get both. I get the Republican primary, and I get the Democratic primary, so I get to look at both, and I have to choose which one I want to effectuate. Whereas some states, you don't have that option, so you're even more stuck having to vote in either Democratic or Republican primaries. And that's the thing, is you vote for candidates that are trying to change that so they can become more like here in Colorado, or we tried to vote in ranked choice voting. It failed this last time, but it was very close.
Let me another thing that would push me to vote for Democrats is again, if it weren't just a person, but like larger bodies that were like, if it were the party that had signs of this rather than people having signs that will eventually be squashed out, like historically has always happened.
Sure.
So the other bit of rhetoric that I like to say is that there is absolutely no need for poverty. There is no need in the world as it exists for large wealth disparities. There is technology abounds. You know what I'm saying?
No, I
like
agree.
There's no reason for everyone to have their needs and generally desires met.
Right.
But this is not what the Democrats like advocate, though. They advocate like means testing and like for example, another dumb shit that gets me about. Sorry, excuse me.
No, you're okay. Oh, I don't care. You can cuss as much as you want. I cuss like a sailor. As long as you don't slur, we're fine.
So I don't want to take up too much of your time, but if you don't mind, like a longer dialogue, this is cathartic for me because I never get to get these ideas out with people. They usually just yell at me like happened on the other channel. But
No, I like.
shoot, I lost my train of thought
No, you're
there.
okay. Like I understand what you're saying. It is just that I think that we can like how do I say this? Work within the system but I understand what you're saying, that they like to squash this, but also within history we've seen where ideas that were not as popular push through. The Civil Rights Act, the system was literally invented from the foundation of this nation to crush things like the Civil Rights
can I
Act,
give
and
you-
yet it went forward.
Can I give you a really funny fact about the civil rights era?
Sure.
One of the largest contributors to legal struggles of activists during this time was the Ford Foundation, one of the most powerful families in the world.
Yeah, he's a Nazi.
So you can't talk about, I'm sorry?
Like Ford, like the car company?
The Ford family. Yeah.
He was a Nazi, is what I said.
Well, whatever. All I know, in part, I just have a particular factoid for you.
No,
I
you're
apologize
fine. It's just when I hear
for
Ford,
context.
I think of the fact that he had,
Yeah.
like, Hitler had a picture of Ford in his office. It's weird.
For sure. So, well, that's a huge irony considering like ethno-fascism, and then also being the largest supporter financially for the legal troubles of civil rights in the United States. How do those square? The only way they square is seeing the civil rights as their participation as something they see politically favoring.
No, of
them. It is
course.
just a
Politically
simple
favorable
political economy.
and politically favorable and fiscally favorable, of course. Like, I tell people all the time, and it's funny, I'll argue with conservatives about climate change, and they'll talk about gas and how green energy is so bad. And I tell them, I'm like, do you know what the highest investors in green energy are? It's the gas companies. Why? Because they know that that's where it's going, and so they're trying to get ahead and make that money. I agree with you that like that is where That is where their intent may lie. That does not mean we're not getting good things out of it. And then we can exploit that in the future to then make it so they can't exploit those things, but we can still get progressive policy going forward. Like, I completely agree with you. I understand why you don't vote. I'm not admonishing you for that. I just think that we could use it as a tool to ensure that we're not just rolling out the red carpet for fascism and actually trying to use any tool in our fucking quiver like that we can. That's
For
just
what it's
where
worth.
I sit, but I understand why people don't vote. It's not in protest of anything. It's not to prove a point. It is that they don't believe in the system in and of itself, and I understand that. I don't
My
agree with it, but I
favorite-
understand it.
I got you. My favorite spicy Stalin paper. I don't remember the name of the paper, but in the first 2 paragraphs, he, in short order, lays out why social democracy is the twin of fascism.
Sure. I mean, it's
And-
hard because like you get Stalinism and Leninism and Maoism,
Well,
and there's
okay, yeah.
still exploitation and harm in those systems, but
No, for sure. I just want to point out, like, it's a structural fact of the matter that
Mhm.
both of these are the tools of the bourgeoisie from the
Sure.
socialist perspective.
Sure. No.
Okay,
I
so
understand that.
that's a large part of where I'm coming from too.
No, completely. I knew that that's where you're coming from. I understand it. I agree with it. I just also am going to, for people who aren't as, I guess, lucky as the privilege that you and I might have. Like, again, I don't know your race.
Yeah.
I don't know any of that, but there is privilege associated with every single person. I have the privilege of being a white presenting Latina in a very blue fucking state. Well, blue. A lot of people think Colorado. It's actually more red than they think it is, but in a blue state with a lot of protections. And so what I'm going to do is keep advocating for people to fight that are stuck in worse situations than I am.
That's totally fair. I just, and you know what, and you're not wrong, right? Like Lenin, I forget where, but he explicitly he talks about electoralism,
Mm-hmm.
and he does comments on like my black pill disposition. So like I'm probably wrong to some degree. Like it's whatever.
No, I mean, it's
just-
going to be theory and how it's used through policy or not policy or tested out. Like it's, it's kind of philosophy in that way when you're looking at it, but it's not a bad thing to read about or ascribe to, I don't think. But
So-
yeah.
As far as electoralism goes, my main point is that Democrats, and again, I just say Democrats because you said progressive, conservatives aren't typically progressive.
Right. Because you're making clear that you pretty
Uh,
much completely disagree with Republicans and conservatives. So your critique is this idea of Democrats who say they're better.
Right.
Unless I was
right.
misunderstanding you.
No, that's pretty much it. Like
Okay.
highlighting the Ford thing was just to point out that like the instance of progress was in its context a mechanism of oppression, bringing us to this point.
Sure.
It was not liberation for a people. It was shuffling people around within the same paradigm.
No, I agree with you. I just think we can use it against them personally.
Mhm.
But I understand where you're coming from.
That's fair. I understand the difference. That's fair. Can I give you a real spicy one that people don't like typically?
Sure, we can try it,
Um,
and then I'll probably get ready to get off the phone. Though I do appreciate you being so civil.
No, dude, it's so good to have a conversation with someone that's not gonna like yell. Like oh my god, people get so worked up because there's just I want to get to the bottom of a concept and not not have like the stupid virtue signaling without like having the humility to be like, oh, I might be wrong here. You
Sure.
know what I'm saying?
Right, exactly.
All right, so this is good. I like this one. So Frantz Fanon, right?
Hmm.
He again anti-colonial Marxist. He ended up getting shot by he was an Algerian, got murdered by French military. This dude has a sweet quote where he says something like black man and white man do not exist. And his project is to acknowledge the the social like nature of categories that we employ
Mm-hmm.
to to produce a new humanism. That was his aim, a new humanism that transcends like our racial history.
So, like,
Okay.
again, I said I know nothing about him, but I will say, does he mean in the sense of how we have used and come up with the term race as a society to use it for oppression?
Not particular to impression to oppression. Just the fact of its historical constitution as
Sure.
something that is like an ideal or an idea
Mhm.
we have created. Like it is an object of thought that is
No, of course,
something
like
we
anything would
all-
be.
Okay,
Sure.
sure, yeah. Okay. So his big thing, right, is one of his buddies in his milieu was Merleau-Ponty, and Merleau-Ponty was a philosopher of embodiment. For him, meaning is not like objective facts outside, subjective thoughts inside. The world is something that comes to be through the reciprocal constitution of a being with perspective embodied in the world, right? So it's not like
Right.
a separation of ideas and material. It's not a separation of object and subject. They get smashed together.
No, and I understand that philosophical take. I kind of feel that way when we talk about gender. I'm more of a gender abolitionist, because
Cool.
it's stupid. But the problem with that is that's the philosophy aspect, and it doesn't necessarily, it's not engaging with the fact that although that could be true, and that would be great to think that way, we live in a society that actively either sees race or ignores it and uses it for
No, I
oppression.
got you.
You know what I mean? So,
I'm
yeah.
bringing it to the practical and pragmatic conclusion. Trust, okay?
Okay.
So if experience is something like the lived situation is something that can only be understood as real to those experiencing it, right? Like how to put it? You are you because you are living you right now, right?
Sure.
The things that you know are true are because you have lived the life that brings the truth of those experiences. So the ideas, like reification, the Marxist concept, are you familiar?
A little bit. I'm not as studied
Okay.
as I used to be, but yeah.
No worries. Reification is like the value of money. It is objective in the sense that it is like objectively determining in the world.
Right.
Yet it is
it's there.
subjective.
Yeah.
In the sense that we have created it out of nothing. Like it's not like
Sure.
a plant or something that you can pick up. It's literally just ideas that have been reified. They become real. Okay. So if meaning is necessarily lived and categories are experienced as real, that means that race is real in the sense that people live their race as they see themselves as racial subjects. So if they are constituted racially in the culture, then the reality of their experiences are racial. And my problem with left politics around race
Mm-hmm.
is they take whiteness and give it this like static historic attribution that has nothing to do with the continued lived experience of the people of that category. They take it as separate from the people and say, like, how do they put it? Like black identity is justified because it is the rebellion against oppression. It is valid
Sure.
because it is like this moral righteous thing, which is true. And then whiteness as the historical tool of oppression is invalid. But my problem is that these categories are lived. They are not something apart
But
from living
but
people.
I'll push back on that and say that I have heard
Sure.
politicians on the progressive side that have changed that narrative, right? That yes, we talk about the privilege of being white and white people in way of our history in this country. Not great. Not a great history for white people in this country. However, there has
true.
been there has been a change to that, not ignoring the privilege that still exists in this country, but the fact that the idea of white supremacy that built this country also hurts white people in lower brackets. Like, white supremacy was meant to help a very specific subset of white people, and it's not helping the lower. And I've seen that rhetoric change within the Democratic Party to try to hit the, like, quote unquote everyman, right? So I have seen that change.
Okay, I did not know that was a thing that existed. I cannot go into any space and speak positively of whiteness without being berated by academics who will not engage
It depends on what you
theory.
mean, though. Like, what positive
It
aspect
doesn't
of
depend
whiteness?
on what I mean. You're literally not allowed to it gets called white apologia, it gets called white supremacism.
Well, it depends
because
on
of
if
the
you're like, it
historical
depends on what
anecdote.
part of, like, there's not a lot to brag about being white, because it's usually by stepping on the necks of marginalized communities to get there.
Well, okay, so that is the static historical facts.
It's a fact.
That is not white people living. That is not respecting whiteness as it is people who are alive right now.
No,
That
it is because it is because even though I might be a lower middle class white presenting Latina, yes, I have my marginalization of being Latina and being a woman. However, I still have a lot of privilege when it comes to how I look. I am not pulled over. I am not questioned. These things don't happen to me. So yes, there is privilege that comes along with that. I'm not going to sit here and brag about something that I'm getting because it's marginalizing others.
I am not the history of whiteness. I am a white person.
But I get the benefit of the history of whiteness, and I have to acknowledge that.
No, that's totally fine. I never said anything about like what is it, denying like historical evidence.
But that's
or
all we're
something like
talking
that.
about when we talk about it. When we talk about it, we are talking about it for the most part. I'm talking about, yeah, I know. But for the most part, when I speak on it, I'm speaking about it to people, not you, but to people who don't recognize that at all.
And that's the problem. It is a political denial of an identity that is constituted by our politics. It is explicitly oppressive of that identity because it does not allow them to positively organize and represent themselves.
Maybe.
You just told me that the only way that you can take up this concept, or that you take up this concept with people generally, is this historical narrative. It has nothing to do with the people that actually are here and willing to express themselves politically with you. It is against them. No, that is my problem with the kind of racial politics.
It's not. There just has to be a recognition of that privilege. That's all. Like there just has to be that.
Okay, but then where are the positive facing white movements?
Why would you
and
need
what happens
that?
whenever
what
you
does
see
that
them
mean?
pop up? What do you mean? What does that mean?
Of having like positive white facing movements. Why do you need that? White people have everything except for the ones who are getting oppressed by the system that has everything.
Well,
like, what are they having a movement to? White people have the majority of land. White people have a majority of wealth. White people have a majority of a stake in Congress. Like, what else do they need?
They also have the majority of poverty just as a simple fact of being the majority.
Yes, because white supremacy also hurts other white people. Because guess what? They don't get to oppress the black people into slavery anymore, except they do when we arrest them. So, like, what is the positive movement that they need?
Well, I would say that against the mass immiseration that they suffer under poverty, I would say that's a pretty big one to ask for, right? That should be a white movement against that. That would be good, right? If there were a white movement against the universal suffrage of poverty or suffering of poverty.
Sure.
Not suffrage.
Don't paint it as white people doing it, though. Like, have the white people join in with the marginalized communities.
So white people have to join the black movement. They can't have a movement of their own?
No, you join the marginalized movement of being able to push for
white people are
fighting the oligarchs.
Though. I just established that.
But, like, why are you saying they need to have a club with a name, with a flag, with a sign, all on their own?
I'm saying that it would be politically beneficial for people to have positive self-expression.
You know what?
to
Actually, I'm
organize
gonna
freely.
say you do kind of see things like this. Actually, I'm going to paint this a different way. There was an entire
Sure.
movement under Kamala Harris's campaign that was called "White Dudes for Harris," and I don't know of anybody who actually criticized that there was a group called "White Dudes for Harris." That was a positive movement for white men to promote "quote unquote" progressive policy.
Right. No, so it does exist. It
Right.
does come up.
Sure.
But you can see that the status quo, the normal position, is overwhelmingly against this. I mean, you had trouble even accepting the idea for like 5 minutes of a conversation until like now.
And
you
that's
know what
fair
I mean? Like,
because
it's a tough pill
when
to
we
swallow.
hear and that's fair because when we hear positive white facing movement, you hear white supremacy, you hear Proud Boys, you hear KKK, you hear pride in whiteness, which to us represents oppression. I agree with you. That is fair. I did fight back on that.
Right.
But I think
you don't see it. No one sees it as a pursuance of like solidarity against poverty, like, you know.
Sure,
like
and I can
BLM
understand that. I
automatically
think
taken up.
Sure, and I can understand
like,
that.
BLM,
And
it's
I'm
universal. Like,
sure,
sorry,
and
go ahead.
they can do that, and that's fine. I'm not against that. My thing is, I would rather, as somebody also part of intersectionality of marginalized communities, I would rather uplift the marginalized communities and speak side by side with them or behind them than apart from them. I would rather us all work together, but I understand what you're saying. I get that.
Side by side would be the acceptance of white people organizing for themselves. That's what that
They
would
do.
be, because it would be white organizations alongside black organizations. You're not advocating side by side. You're advocating that the whites just go join the other groups.
I did before. I actively did.
Sorry. Yeah. I just okay. Maybe not you particularly,
Sure.
but it seems like the reference to BLM should make it overwhelmingly clear that like my sentiment is like the normative sentiments, you know? Like, what was it, 2000, I think it was like 2011 or something like that. There was a book called Settlers, The Myth of the White Proletariat. And it was huge. And it was a parallel of Marx and his critique of French petty landowners, and the facts of their I don't know how to put it, like situation or whatever, being the people that have this, the way they relate to institutions through this experience is being reactionary to preserve their privilege. And this book had a narrative like that about it. And the idea was that like white people, you know, are inherently in this context, anti people, you know, they are the bourgeoisie. They're not the people's people.
Sure, when you're going to need those who are impoverished or whatever as part of the proletariat, you're going to need them as part of the proletariat. You can't exclude them.
Exactly. You're going to need these white peoples for an efficacious political movement. They are the majority. And then instead of allowing them to participate for themselves and express themselves positively, the demand is that they like refuse their whiteness and don't take it up.
It's just
politically.
acknowledging, at least on my side, it is for acknowledging privilege. You absolutely can fight for the things that you want to fight for that align with us. You just have to acknowledge your privilege. That's all. Just acknowledge the privilege and don't use it against the folks that you say that you align with, even for your own fight.
For you particularly, this may be the case, but we can see culturally that is not reflective of any way of the
not in my community, but not in my community, and not in the people that I support, and not in the candidates that I read about.
So do you remember the response to Black Lives Matter for Republicans? Just like, what about white lives matter?
Yeah, all lives matter, yeah.
Right. So why wasn't the response, yeah, dude, bring your White Lives Matter signs out to our protests and we'll all get down on
because the people saying it, that's not what they mean. What black, do you know the entirety? And are you black, by the way?
No, I'm white.
That's what I
I'm
thought.
fucking
So
Wonder
I
Girl,
will
bro.
say I'm going to get ready to close out and move on from this conversation because I do feel
Sure.
uncomfortable as two white people speaking about race. But what I will say is
I'm race. I'm a racial subject. Why would you not allow me to speak about race? That's see,
because
this is
you and
exactly
I
what I was just
because
saying.
you and I do not experience the black experience and we never will.
I'm not talking about the black experience.
Okay, well,
I'm
we're
talking
talking
about the white
about
experience.
BLM. We're talking what is the entire sentence of Black Lives Matter? Do you know the
I'm
whole
only
slogan?
referencing it to elucidate my point of the way we normatively discuss whiteness. That was the
What
only
is the
reason that was spoken
entire
of.
sentence for BLM?
Black Lives Matter.
No.
Oh, I'm sorry.
All lives
actually
will
had no
matter
clue.
when black lives do.
Oh,
Because
based.
in this society, black lives do not seem to matter as much as white lives. And
Oh, I'm
so,
totally familiar.
right. So it was a recognition of that. So then the people combating that with all lives matter or white lives matter was just racism.
So they were never given the opportunity to be racist because when they
No.
said all lives or when they said all lives matter, the response was get out of here.
Bullshit.
It was not
bullshit.
oh yeah, come hang out with
Bullshit.
us.
Me, my work wife, my tons of content creators on this app have talked ad nauseum to people who said all lives matter, and we would do exactly like I do with any caller, and I critique it. I ask questions or I push back so that they have to explain themselves. And every single time it ended in white supremacy support, whether they knew consciously or not. Every single time.
That has not been my response, not my experience a single time of speaking with people who have told me that all lives matter.
I think you have
So I don't
unpacking to
know-
do, to be honest. Like, honestly, I think there is some unpacking that you need to do. I will say, I'm not angry, but it
That's
has
fair.
been about an hour. I do appreciate the civil
Oh,
conversation. But yeah,
Oh,
but I
excuse me.
am going to move on. But I do appreciate
Yeah,
the
you-
conversation.
No, for sure. Have a good one.
You as well. Okay, everybody breathe. Breathe. There's always still unpacking, even on the leftist side. He's a leftist. I don't know if you guys know that. That is a communist. Thank you for calling the stream. If you could just give me 1 second, I'm going to put you on hold. Guys, let me make sure that I get all of my thank yous out because that was a lot. And it was hard. It was a hard listen. There's a lot of unpacking that still needs to be done there, apparently.
Mm-hmm.
You can have a lot of leftist progressive ideas, even if you don't want to vote for them, and still have unpacking to do. We all have unpacking to do, constantly. Can I get big W's for the chat for getting us to over 100,000 likes over here? I appreciate you guys. If you're on YouTube and haven't hit that thumbs up, please do. And let me get to the W's to, my God, where was I? Let me go through. I got to go through my apps real quick. I think that was on Cash App. W's to Jason for the dollar train for the choo-choo. So thank you so much for that. Thank you. Oh, okay, you didn't want to wait on hold. I'm so sorry. Cry about it. Thank you, Oh Me Oh My, for the 18 on PayPal. Thank you so much. You never leave me messages, which is fine. If you don't want to send me messages, that's okay. And thank you to Ari for the dollar train choo choo. Thank you so much. And thank you to Trademark for the $10. Trademark, you said, ew, I just realized. Oh no, that was a different one. Second one. You said, hope you've been well. I've been taking a mental health break from all this crazy shit that we call America these days. Thanks for being here and all you do. Thank you. Which then you sent $1.53 for ew. I just realized what my initial 10 would have made the goal and had to fix it. But on top of a different 10 that I got, it would have been okay. And then X, thank you so much for the 80 cents for sorry it was too tempting. But you're making me do math. What'd you do?
W.
Oh, that did.
Also, welcome back, Trademark.
Did I miss anybody? If I missed you in the chat, please let me know. I got the math right, but if I missed your
Oh my
message,
God.
that's
Why?
the person I put on hold, by the way, and they just hung up and now they're calling back.
That's what they tend to do, guys. Make sure we're still using our fingers and do other fantastic things. Make sure we're staying engaged. Guys, that conversation was worth more than the 67 that is currently on screen. We should be seeing more donos fly across that screen.
Hang up on him for a second. And I want to say, I apologize if I misrepresented or did not express in a way that you would have liked to see for the community that he was speaking about, for the Black community. I apologize. It's not the kind of conversations that I like to have as a white person. However, I also know that sometimes they don't listen to the marginalized communities. We've seen that as women, have we not? Where we have to bring up men. We don't have to, but we bring up men because men listen to men. Sometimes white people listen to white people and are willing to have those conversations. But I just want to say that if I fucked it, I know. But and I also don't need the accolades. I don't deserve them. I'm a white woman on this app. That is my voice. That is my role as a white woman on this app. I just want to make sure that everybody is aware that I saw your chats. I wanted to make sure that you know I see you and I love you and I'm going to keep fighting for you, and that we just have to acknowledge what we have to acknowledge. So, you know,
I mean,
have to keep doing
he
that.
at least had more conversations with you. He got mad when I called him lazy this morning. So,
Well, you know me. I give them a lot of room sometimes. That maybe
you do. But again, I still firmly believe that that conversation was worth more than the $67. So get on going with that. Get on with the goal and shit.
W. Dan for the 71 cents because we're always learning math. Damn you. I don't learn math. I just, I cheat. It's fine. You can hate on that for that because I just cheat. You won't have a calculator in your pocket for the rest of your life. I will, you lied. And W's to Justin for the $2 for Mute Waffle. Guessing Waffle Jackson is back. So yeah, goodbye Waffle Jackson for the day, because that is one way with capitalism that you can mute someone you no longer want to listen to for the day with a $2 mute. You can also do.
Do you want someone muted in the chat? Is there someone who's spamming, making disingenuous arguments, displaying bot behavior, or maybe they're just a dumb bitch? Well, you can keep them muted and contribute to their degradation kink. But remember, while we don't kink shame, it is perfectly acceptable to kink ask why. You can keep them muted for as little as $2 a day, $7 a week, or $25 a month. Pay links in the bio.
All right. Oh, my husband's in the box. A man. It was a
Ew.
It was a
Wait,
Jules.
I
Thank you.
thought Blue paid for him not to be here for a week.
Yeah. Why are you here? Actually, why are you here?
Go away.
W's to Queen Session for the 200 joules over there on YouTube. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. Thank you for the reminder.
And then you did get a super chat too.
Did I? Did I miss a super
You did.
chat? Oh, okay. Oh, it's right here. Young Merv, thank you for the $1.99 super chat. You said, as an FBA, you did well. Thank you. Thank you. I think.
I'm in that same position. I wouldn't.
Pride.
I think it counts when you call.
Hold on. So I wouldn't have even came up
No.
Uh-huh.
if it hadn't been an hour and 8
minutes.
minutes, and you guys are only at 22 shares.
Oh, you're mod announcing. It is
So-
only 22 shares. That is crazy.
Bye,
Yeah, you all
Raymond.
need to share this. If it's not up to like 80 in the next 5 minutes, I'm turning off the chat.
No, you're not. I don't do that. I don't turn the chat off, but nice try. Why? I was going to answer your phone call and then you hang up. Not my husband, this person that keeps calling and has no patience. Call again. Try again. One more again. I believe in you.
Bye, Rocco.
Oh, well, bye, Rocco. I'm waiting for them to call again because I know as soon as I get into my fucking...
I could not talk about Rubio for an hour and a half today.
I mean, sometimes it happens. It means I'll have content for tomorrow that I didn't because I didn't get through shit. But then I fall
shit keeps
behind.
getting pushed. Yeah. I started doing it all on a Google Doc, and now my Google Doc looks like a rainbow, which isn't bad, but still.
It's how mine ends up looking. It's just like red lettered out what I've gotten to and what I haven't.
Not the red letter Google Doc.
The red letter Google Doc.
Told to check Green app.
Okay. Oh, why wasn't that in night mode? That's way too much. W's to that's DJ Bookie, right? I always get the names confused and I don't want to say your name if that's not you. I always
Oh, I don't know. The person who's saying it is
No,
Kate
that's
Cal?
that's a different person. I got to check. Okay.
Okay.
I loved your message though. Thank you for the $5 on the green app for is that DJ Booker or that's just Telroy? But Telroy, thank you so much for the $5. Said keep husband out of the show. It's my time.
Damn.
You're right. You're right. It is my time to pay attention to you. And so I don't know why he would get involved in that. In
Oh, that
our
was
time
DJ
together?
Bookie.
Our
That
time
was
together?
DJ
How
Bookie.
dare he? I know.
Why am I the third wheel? I don't like this.
And then I'm gonna use your username. I saw that you said check Cash App. Is it Caped Cow?
think
Caped
it's
Cow.
Caped Cow.
W's to you. If that was you, and I believe it was. Holy crap! I want to see huge W's for the $64.96 for Love the Show.
W?
Completely completing out the fucking goal. Holy shit! Thank you so much. Thank you so
W
fucking
Cape
much.
Cow.
Thank you. So W's to you guys for knocking the fuck out of the goal. We still have about 45 minutes here, and we are going to, maybe that's that person calling and actually gonna fucking answer the phone. Let's see.
But keep tapping
different
that
number.
screen. Do all the wonderful things. Make sure we're staying engaged. Guys, even though the goal is complete, you can still send things to Monty's pay links. I also have some in
Thank
mine
you
as
for calling the
well.
stream. Can I get your
Do
age,
the
state, and who
things.
you voted for?
Bye, Rocco.
New York, Xavier, 33.
And who'd you vote for, Xavier?
Trump.
Okay. Why are you still supporting Trump?
That's the man. He always says the truth. He's not a fake. He doesn't do fraud.
He always tells the truth?
He always tells the truth, even though you don't like it.
Did the rain
Which
stop?
a lot of people
I'm gonna ask you.
they go by off their feelings.
Did the
But go
rain
ahead.
stop and the clouds parted and the sun came out for his first inauguration in his first term?
Well, he did it under the Bible.
That's great. He put his hand on the Bible. That's not what I asked you. He said that the rain stopped on his inauguration day, the clouds parted, and the sun came out. Did that happen?
I have to look at the weather. I have to look at that video. I
Cool.
don't know.
So you can look. It didn't. So he lied about that. Did he, was the 2020 election rigged?
Yes. 100%.
With what evidence?
There's a lot of videos of people, the Democrats, they had like bags of ballots.
Did you
and
have?
they were
Oh, that's
just dumping
interesting.
in.
Hold on. You have evidence that his lawyers in 60+ court cases didn't have?
No, there's videos that
Then
shows
how
like
come
people
he
with ballots.
How come he lost 60+ court cases and has not prosecuted anyone for election fraud yet in his second term?
It's a bullshit case. He's not gonna waste his time on that. It's fine. He took the loss and he still
Then
came back.
He literally
He took the loss. He took the loss.
He literally
Yeah,
talked about it.
they cheated. You guys cheated.
Hold on.
You guys cheated. The
He
Democrats
talked
cheated.
about it in an
It's fine.
interview last night. If he was not bothering with it, why did he talk about it in an interview last night?
Why not talk about it?
Because
he
he
has to talk
has
he
no-
will talk
he
about it.
has-
He's going to talk about it for the rest of his life.
Then why has he not directed his DOJ to prosecute anybody
Because it's a waste
involved?
of time. It's a waste
Then
of money.
why-
It's a waste
then
of
why-
time.
Then
It's
why
the past
is
is
his
the past.
DOJ? Then why is his DOJ going after people for seashell pictures and supposed fraud within mortgages? If it's a waste of his time, I think that the election would be a much bigger deal than a photo of some seashels. Why is he going after James Comey?
He has bigger fish to fry.
Like James
that's some
Comey in a
bullshit
seashell
thing.
picture.
I'm telling you right now.
No.
He's going after
Why?
He's going
He's not. The
through
DOJ
all the
has not
Democrats.
filed. The DOJ has not filed charges on Omar. They have filed charges on James Comey for a picture of seashells that he took a year ago that he took down. Why is he going after that on a 2-page indictment that he's probably going to lose instead of actually going after a huge thing that would prove that we need a lot more security in our election system by prosecuting the people who were fraudulent involved in it?
already
wouldn't he
doing
do
that.
No,
the
he's
real
not.
the real IDs. It's already enrolled, and the Democrats is the only one that's complaining.
When was real
Oh, they're
IDs?
like, oh no, we
when,
can't check, we
Sweetie,
cannot
it's okay. I know.
the birth certificates and everything.
When
Like,
was
why are you guys
real IDs?
complaining?
When was real IDs passed into law by Congress?
I don't know. A couple of years ago.
2005. No, 2005 is when real IDs were passed into law by Congress. Now, what you are talking about is the Save America Act. Have you read it?
I know. I have an idea of what it is.
I don't think you is a real ID enough under the Save America Act to vote.
It should be, yeah.
But it's not. Under the Save America Act, a real ID is actually not enough for you to be able to vote. This is the problem when we say things, but we don't read things.
Federal law provide, documents to prove to a U.S. citizen.
Yes, but
you have to provide.
Right, but a real ID is not necessarily one of them that would be abided by. Also, what it does is it would force you to have to go to your nearest local election office to be able to turn in that registration, which is actually really difficult for people in rural areas. Also, if your name does not match your ID or your birth certificate, you are going to have to get further proof. Now, here's my thing. I will tell you my opinion. I do not care about having voter ID. I'm fine with it. I am fine with having a law that requires some sort of voter ID to prove your citizenship to vote. But any documents that you then need to obtain that voter ID need to be free, because that would then be a poll tax if you are charging for it.
I agree with you on that one. It shouldn't be charged, because if you're a citizen, you shouldn't be paying for shit. You're already paying taxes. Obviously, you're contributing to the country. I agree with that.
Okay, so then if they change that, I would support it. The problem I have right now is that it is restrictive and a poll tax on the American citizens. That's where I have an issue. But other than that,
I agree. I agree with that. Yeah, that's common sense. Yeah, I agree with you there. That's cool.
Okay,
and
but again,
are you going to see the Knicks
lie.
game? Are you going to see the Knicks game tonight?
No, I'm not really a basketball fan. And even when I was, it was because the Nuggets were winning, to be fair. But then I don't care. I'm a football fan. So.
Well, this is for the chat. If you guys look at the Knicks game tonight, you're going to see your boy over there. Trump is going to be there.
Has he said
Trump
that?
will be there. Yeah.
And
he has a UFC this month as well. So just be there as well.
I really dare him to go. That's going to be an interesting experience for him. But do you have anything else to add to the conversation, or?
No. Well, that's basically it. The only thing that's bothering me this month is that Pride Month. To me, it's.
Why do we bother
My opinion is a sexuality type of thing, and you should keep that behind closed doors. Whatever you want to do behind closed doors,
we do.
You do it. It's fine. Nobody's trying to control nobody's life, but leave it out of the kids' eyes.
Do you know
leave
what
it out
Pride?
of the kids' attention.
Do you know what Pride start? Why can't the kids know about gay people? My children know about me.
Because it's a sexuality thing. It's like teaching them about sex when they're 4 or 5 years old.
No.
Don't do that. Stop it. If you want to act like a different person,
a different person. I'm the same person. I am in a heterosexual presenting relationship, but I am pansexual. My children, I have 2 of them. They're young. They're in elementary school. They understand the concept that a woman can like a woman, a man can like a man, and they don't know anything about the aspects that are involved in the bedroom beyond that. They don't ask. They just say, okay.
How old are they?
My children are 10 and 8.
And you're already talking sexuality about like you're not. I know you're not talking about the behind like the sexuality part, but you're talking about the generalizations of it.
I'm talking about
that's wrong.
Why is it wrong? They watch Disney movies where heterosexual couples are there all the time. Why is it wrong for them to know that women can like women and men can like men?
It's going to confuse them.
No, it doesn't. My kid said, "Okay,
because
mommy,"
you know why?
away.
Your children's looking at you and your husband, your man.
Yeah.
That's their dad.
Uh-huh.
And then
And
when
they're
you tell them
aware.
about woman to woman, man to man, they're like, okay,
not
well, I see you.
confused.
You're my parents,
Uh-huh.
but you're talking about something else.
Yeah.
How is that right? Like, don't.
How is it wrong?
This
My
should be a
children.
conversation when they get a little bit older.
No.
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying.
Because although it offends your sensibilities, my children understand because also guess what? We are starting to see it represented in our media, thank God. So you're seeing things like the newest Toy Story movie where they had a lesbian couple on there. You know what? My kids are raised to understand that families can look different. They didn't question anything. They moved on with their life because that's what kids will do.
They could be different.
The hate
They could
is
be
taught.
different, but no. But the difference should be taught in later in life. It shouldn't be
Why?
8 years old, 10
Why?
years old, because it is no need to.
Why?
There's no need to.
Then why do we teach about
Then why do we
teach about mommy and daddy? Why do we teach about mommy and daddy so young?
Because that's natural. That's the way it's
What
supposed
if you
to
were
be.
what if you were adopted at birth and both of your parents are lesbians?
That's that's like 1 in a million,
It's
like
not 1 in a
situation
million.
type
No,
of thing.
it is
Yeah, that
when
is 1 in a million.
when children go into
And
either
you
preschool.
know what? And you know what? They're
when
more confused.
It's
Go
not,
ahead.
they're not confused. You're confused. Children are not
No.
confused. They go into
They're
school, whether it's
confused.
preschool or kindergarten, and they learn about doing family trees. There are some families where they're raised by a grandparent or raised by one parent. It doesn't confuse them. They are just aware that families look different. Now, children discovering their own sexual identity does come later in life. That's not something you teach them. That's something they discover themselves. And if they are in a comfortable home, they can then ask about it instead of being told it's just a phase or being denied who they are. I'm not gearing them to be anything. I'm just telling them that's who mommy is. They can be who they are when they discover that.
So why put it in the schools? Why put
It's
the
not in
rainbow
schools.
flag? That it is in almost every public school.
No,
You
it's
see
not.
a fucking rainbow flag.
What is wrong with
A
a
sexual
fucking
flag.
rainbow flag? All it shows is that there are different people in the world and representation.
No, don't put that. The only flag supposed to be up there is the United States flag.
No,
the
that's
country.
not true. We have all sorts
And
of
you
flags.
and do the Pledge of Allegiance every morning, like
you know,
we used
some
to.
schools don't do that, right?
I know they don't do it because
Yeah.
you know why? Because we lost. We're
No,
losing
Because it's
to the double.
indoctrination. Because it's indoctrination. Yeah,
Indoctrination.
You're scared of a flag. It's crazy.
To
pledge?
pray for your flag every day.
Do
You
children?
know China
no,
does it, Germany
Do
does it,
children-
all these
that's
countries
not-
they do it.
I don't
We're
care
the only
what they
one
do. I don't care. That's
that's
not
seeing
true.
it like bad.
My kid's school does it. Do you know that, what do children, you're sitting here saying children do not understand, so they should be explained to later. How do children understand the pledge?
What pledge?
The Pledge of Allegiance. How do children understand that when they're forced to say it at that age?
Because this is our country. We have to learn it. The pledge.
No, you don't. W's to Jillian for the $10 for Bye Rocco. So W's to Jillian for that. Also, I had 10 on Cash App for Andrea. You said to shut down Mark Lewis 1199 and Sir Zeke. Is that in the YouTube chat by chance?
I also got a bye, Rocco. W's in the chat to Jillian. Bye, Rocco.
I did turn the phone lines off for a second just so that I can decipher who we're silencing from Andrea.
Bye,
Just wanna
Rocco.
make Sure.
That is what I'm going to forever call your husband. New nickname for your husband is Rocco now.
That works. He's not Cuck anymore. So mods, pay attention for me. I don't know. Mark Lewis 1199 and Sir Zeke. If you see them, they are muted and done. Mission accomplished. Okay, Justin, thank you. So W
Yeah,
is
they
to
were
you.
both
Thank
in
you
the
so
chat.
much.
They were both in the tube.
Okay, I wasn't sure.
I'm like, look at your TikTok. I'm like, hello?
Yeah, I wasn't sure. You know, it's hard for me when I'm on a conversation. It's hard for me to see chats as they roll because I'm paying attention. That guy has called before, by the way.
Has he?
I'm pretty sure.
I really feel like one of these like end of the weeks we should all just compare all the numbers we get. It's just to see.
This guy.
Bingo! Like
Donald Trump never lies. Wow. Wow. That's a take. That's a take. No. Thank you for calling the stream. Can I get your age, state, and who you voted for? Hi, can I get your age, state, and who you voted for?
I am 26, and I voted for Donald Trump.
Okay, what state did you vote in?
I would not like to share that information.
Oh, I don't know your name. I can't find you. Do you live in the state that your area code is from?
Yes,
Isn't that California?
it's North Carolina.
Okay. There we go. See? Why are you still supporting Trump?
Probably because of the border, I would say. I mean, I think it's been on pretty good locks.
Pretty good luck. How does the border affect your life? Or the American people's
Well,
life?
Well, I would just say that it affects probably our safety just because,
How?
I would like someone to come through and through the proper way and not illegally.
What's the
And I
proper
feel
way?
like through like flying over here and getting checked and stuff before you
Flying
come
over
into the
here
country.
and getting checked.
Or
What's the title that our immigration law is under?
I mean, I'm just simple. I don't know.
Well,
Like
then how do you know what the right way is if you don't know the title that our immigration law is under?
all I'm saying is that I feel like since when we were under the
Oh,
Biden
your feelings.
administration,
Okay. Go ahead.
yeah, I just feel like statistically it is shown that the rates are down, and I
What
just feel like
rates?
like how many people have came in the border illegally.
We don't track crossings. We do track encounters, and yes, those are down, but we can't attribute whether that is positive or negative to the country. Again, you talked about crime, but you don't know the law, and which means you probably don't know, as you said yourself, you're simple. You do not know that they commit 60% less crime than U.S. citizens do, because they don't want to get caught and get sent back. So again, where is the benefit of not having immigrants in the United States to the American people?
No, it's not about the immigrants. It's just about illegally because,
You don't
like,
know
for
the
instance,
law.
well, I mean, for instance, like the other day, I mean, some girl got killed in Colorado by an illegal immigrant that has
Where?
gotten released before.
Where?
I think it was in I'd like to say Colorado, but I couldn't remember. I
I'm
just
in
remember that
Colorado.
the
You
other.
called the wrong motherfucking number.
I mean, hey, that's good for you.
Now, here's the thing. Do some illegal immigrants kill United States citizens? Yes, but at a 60% less rate than U.S. citizens specifically, less so than even white men. Should we start deporting all the white men to ensure safety in the United States of America?
No, because they are U.S. born citizens.
Oh, okay. So then it's not about crime. It is about their status. So again, you do not know the law. Do you know what asylum is?
I'm not aware of that.
Okay. Our asylum law in this country allows for people to come and claim asylum from a country where they are maybe politically persecuted, maybe violently persecuted, and they have to go through the court system to prove that. Now, they do not have to come through a port of entry to claim that asylum. That is the current law in our land. They could parachute in. They have 365 days from the point that they touch U.S. soil to then speak to a CBP agent saying they claim asylum. This is why I have an issue with people who talk about the border without knowing anything about the border.
Okay.
So, Donald Trump fed us a bunch of shit. Now, does the border need to be reformed? Yes. We need more immigration judges? Yes. Like, it has been a fucking issue. Not because people are coming over. And actually, what Donald Trump has done is not only break the law in regards to the rights of immigrants, he is also decreasing our legal immigration. We have less legal immigration. We have less tourism because of what Donald Trump has done, which actually affects our economy.
Okay, but still, I mean, all I'm saying is that personally, I just don't want people that have not gone through a certain process to come into the country and just like do crimes and stuff. Because I get what you're saying, like everyone does crimes, but like specifically like because I mean they were born here in the US and I do not like them getting released early also because I mean that's not right.
Sure. Like, here's the thing. I don't have a problem with going after convicted criminals. The issue that we have right now is what we know from DHS and ICE is that 70% of the people who are detained right now, the immigrants detained, do not have a criminal conviction.
Okay, but they still came in illegally.
According to what law?
Do we want to take the chance though?
I want to follow the law.
Okay.
So
But
follow the
still-
law. How do we know if they're here illegally? What would be the process of that?
I mean, if they cross the border illegally or not.
No. Because again, asylum seekers can cross the border illegally and claim asylum, and that is legal. So you would have to be convicted of 1325 and then, or something else beyond 1326 to get deported.
Okay, but that's the thing. Like, people say that people should not get deported, but
I
then
didn't say
like
that.
well, yeah, I know you, but not like other people say that.
They
And
shouldn't get
the thing is-
deported because it costs us more. So, like, let's say you have somebody who's been here for 25 years. They just don't have any kind of legal status, but they've been here for 25 years. They are paying taxes to the IRS because you can still do that without having legal status. And they've been doing their job. They have a family here and they've been here for that amount of time. It is actually more cost effective for us to give them a pathway to citizenship than to deport them. It costs us more to deport somebody who is a stand-up person in this country. They just don't have legal status. It makes more sense to give them legal status.
Okay, but like, what about the criminals though? See, there's been criminals that have came in and
Mhm.
they do crimes and
Yeah.
they do stuff
And they get
then
caught
They just
like any criminal.
yeah, and
Yeah.
some people they get released.
Like any criminal. Yes. Do you want criminal justice reform? I'm right there with you. Yes, I agree. What does that have to do with
Okay.
immigrants as a whole when we know that they are less likely to commit crime?
Because you said less likely. It just like I don't know. I guess
Because
it's
if we're
just a
going to
safety thing.
reform the justice system, then we need to work on reforming the justice system for all criminals to ensure that no criminal, regardless of status, gets out early. You are taking it and only solely applying it to immigrants because of their lack of status, which is why I asked you if we should start deporting white men who are a majority committers of crime in this country. And you said no, because they're U.S. citizens. So the only delineation here is the citizenship.
Okay, I get what you're saying.
Like, I'm not advocating for keeping criminals here. I honestly think it's ridiculous that once they're caught, immigrant criminals specifically, that we then pay for them to stay in our jails before we deport them. That's our tax money paying for them to be here. I think that's a little ridiculous, but that is the law right now. Until it gets changed, that's the law. I'm only advocating for following the law, which Donald Trump is not doing.
Okay, I got another question.
Sure.
Do you think Donald Trump is racist?
Yes.
Why?
Do you want to go all the way back to the 80s where him and his father were sued with their real estate company when they were landlords? And anytime that somebody came in with an application who was a person of color, they would have them write C on the application so they would know that they were a person of color so that they could deny them or charge them higher rates. They were sued and they did settle that court case. The full page ad that he took out in the paper during the jogger case for the Central Park Five, where there were 5 young men. Some of them did confess to raping this woman and beating her, but they were later exonerated because none of their DNA actually matched her. And he had pulled out a full-page ad calling for their death and saying that New York had become a jungle in reference to 5 men of color. And then when they were exonerated, he said, well, they must have done something.
Okay, but like then why do you think that more black people voted for him now
Black
than they
men,
did
black
earlier?
women did not.
Okay, but still, why do you think that?
Why? Because one, are you black?
No.
Okay, I'm not either. So all I'm going to tell you is that there is a lot of anti-blackness and there is a lot of issues with the fact of being adjacent to white supremacy as an idea that you will have power. Black men, a lot of the times, can vote in a way that they think will give them a leg up by being kind with the racists and white supremacists that doesn't actually suit them. But that is the last we're going to have on that conversation because you and I are white.
How did you know I'm white?
I asked you.
Okay. Well, okay. My thing is just like, I don't get how people are also saying that Trump is racist because if we look at the relatives of every other president, all of their relatives have owned slaves except for Donald Trump.
That's because Donald Trump's family came from Germany, where his dad was possibly involved in being a part of the Nazis. So yeah, they weren't here. They immigrated. His parents immigrated. So of course not.
So you really think his dad was a part of the Nazis?
His dad was arrested at a KKK rally. I'm not really too sure I don't know what more you guys need to see from him about his racism. He talks about black women specifically, only black women as being low IQ, only black people as being low IQ. And I don't know what other reason he would have to do that specifically towards them besides racism. He calls all Somalis crooks and pirates. Why? Well, Somalis are black. Why would he do those things if he wasn't racist?
What? So you're saying that it's wrong that he called the Somalians that?
He called all Somalis that. He said they are all pirates and crooks, every single one of them.
Okay, but do you not see what's happening in Minnesota?
I do. You don't, but I do. And does that make all Somalis, every single one that is in Minnesota or in the world, does it make all of them pirates and crooks?
Yeah, I agree with that, but I'm just saying.
Okay, so that's a pivot. If you want to pivot to the fraud in Minnesota that I'm sure you don't. Do you know who Amy Bach is?
I'm not aware of
Okay,
that.
so then you don't know anything about the fraud in Minnesota. But that is a pivot from the fact that him saying that as a blanket statement for Somalis is racist.
He's not racist though. He's helped.
He is.
He's literally gave money. He's gave money to black colleges.
How? Okay, yeah, the administration did. Okay, awesome. You know that. Do you know that slave owners raped their slaves? Like. How do you, as a white man, get to determine whether Donald Trump is racist or not?
Because I mean, we've seen that he's helped a lot of different people. It's not just like he's just only there for the white people. He's there for everyone, and that's what he's trying to do.
He's not doing anything beneficial for anyone.
For anyone.
Name me a policy that is beneficial for the American people as a whole.
I mean, what I'm trying to say is he's just like, I don't know all the policies. I just know what they mean. Like, I don't know the specific names or anything.
No, you know what he campaigned on, that he expressed to do, not what it actually is doing. What has he done that is beneficial for the American people?
He's literally helped the border. Our country.
How does that help the
safer.
American people? It's not safer. It's not safer because, again, we talked about crime and we talked about the fact that the majority of the crime is not being done by immigrants. So that's not true. That doesn't help the American people as a whole. In fact, it hurts us because it hurts our economy to be getting rid of and scaring away legal migrants.
But you said it was only a certain percent that immigrants actually do these crimes.
I said no. I don't think you understand. Okay. As a whole, immigrants as a whole, regardless of legal status, immigrants as a whole commit 60% less crime than U.S. citizens. So of the crime that U.S. citizens commit, immigrants commit 60% less. They're not committing 60% crime. They're committing 60% less crime. They're not committing crime at a high rate because they do not want to get got by the police and sent back to their countries.
Okay, but then there's still a few percent that actually do.
Yes, I agree with you. If you would like to reform that system and go after them, that's fine. But that is not what he is doing. He is detaining en masse everyone, regardless of whether they're criminals or not, and he is violating their constitutional rights in doing so. He is not allowing them bond hearings or to be seen in front of a judge, which is breaking the fucking law. That is not beneficial to the American people to have him break the constitutional rights of immigrants. That gives him a lovely little footing to break our constitutional rights. Where's the benefit?
But I mean, still, it helps our country be safer to those who
It does
are criminals.
not. Give me statistical data that is helping our country be safer.
I mean, first of all, the border rates have went so much down.
That
which
does
is
not prove
I mean,
safety. That just proves that people are not willing to come here, and you're talking about encounters. Now, statistically prove to me that what he has done with the border has led to safer communities for the United States people.
because many communities have
No,
crime
I
rates
need
that
you
are
to give
going
me a
down.
source, not what you think and feel. Give me a study that what Donald Trump has done at the border has created safer communities.
Because the crime rates are going down in communities.
How do you correlate that? Crime rates were already steadily going down since about 2021, 2022. So how can you correlate that with what Donald Trump has done when they were going down under the Biden administration?
First of all, they weren't going down in the
They
Biden
were.
administration.
They were already going down. Let's go FBI. Where's the... They were already steadily going down. Crime had skyrocketed up during COVID because people were feeling a lot of financial conditions and also being stuck at home. But they were steadily going down after we came out of lockdown. So again, you cannot contribute that to him. Where the fuck is the chart?
So did you vote for Kamala Harris?
Kamala, I don't know who Kamala is, but I did vote for Kamala Harris. She lost. You are now here to talk about how you support Trump. You cannot sit here and say, let's look at violent crime. You cannot sit here and say that Donald Trump has done anything for crime when it was already going down.
Okay, but let's look at both sides. What has Kamala Harris done?
Why do we need to talk about Kamala Harris? She lost the election. We're talking about Donald Trump and what he's doing now.
I understand that,
Okay,
but the
so
thing
then
is,
stop
though,
trying
is
to relitigate the election. Okay.
we're having there's two sides.
There's not.
one you have to choose. There was Donald Trump and Kamala Harris.
Uh-huh.
We're talking.
You chose wrong.
I chose wrong.
Yeah.
Why? Because what has Kamala Harris done? That's what I'm trying to say. Why should I have chosen her?
Why? Because she had better policies that were going to help you by putting price caps on the corporations so that they could not price gouge us above the rate of inflation. She also had first-time home buyer programs for the American people. She was trying to tax the rich instead of giving them tax cuts.
But still, and also, why would we even trust her? She literally, before the
I
presidential
know,
election,
it's so difficult that you have to sit here and actually explain why you are supporting Trump instead of trying to go after a black woman who lost her election. It is done. She lost her election. I don't know what to tell you about that, besides that that's the fact.
I know. I'm just trying
Cool.
to take a look at both. I'm just trying to take a look at both sides.
Let's see. Murders plummeted more than 20% in 2025 from the year before, the single largest one-year drop on record. It might be the lowest murder rate in the U.S. since 1900, said a study released Thursday by the Council on Criminal Justice. The annual crime trends analyzed 40 large cities across the United States for 13 different crime types, including murder, carjacking, theft, and drug offenses. Alongside homicides, which dropped 21% from 2024, carjackings have declined 61%, shoplifting down 10%. It has been going down previous to that, though. 2024, it went down from 2022.
Okay. Well, I would like to also prove another point why I think Donald Trump has done a good job.
Okay. You didn't prove anything yet, but sure.
I mean, second of all, the drug rates that are coming in have gone down too, because of what we've helped out with. Venezuela. We've pretty much kind of helped reshape their country, and we're trying to give them a
Who's
better
in charge?
opportunity.
Who's in charge of Venezuela?
They said, I mean, the latest I heard was that they were going to try to put people, like, they were going to try to help Venezuela. I mean,
Who
hey,
is currently in charge of Venezuela?
at least it's not Maduro anymore.
It's his vice president. Who
Okay,
ran
and they're
who ran the same regime as he did. Also, if you care about drugs so much, and I'm not saying Maduro is not guilty, we'll find out. He's been indicted and he's in this country, even though we fucking kidnapped him. Didn't know that we could kidnap other people's presidents. Guys, it's open for the world now. Why did he pardon the former president of Honduras for trafficking about 400 tons of cocaine? Why did he do that? Why did he pardon him?
I mean, I haven't even heard about that.
Sure. So what I
And
would want you to look into, I want you to Google Trump pardon of former Honduran president. That's what I want you to Google, because he pardoned him.
Okay, and then I got one more thing.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, don't you just think he has a little bit of aura?
No.
Like,
Are
the
you kidding?
dance is not aura.
Undisputed. When did this
You're
come
telling
out?
me the Trump dance is not aura?
No, that looks like a man who is in the closet, and I say that as a gay, a man who is in the closet desperately trying to come out because he looks like he's jacking off to men on top of all the compliments that he gives to other men about their physique. He went on an entire campaign rant about the golf pro's dick.
I mean, don't you think that Kamala Harris's teeth look like horse dentures?
No. I think that you're just a racist misogynist who has some shit to unpack and also literally knows nothing. You haven't read about shit. So again, I would like you to Google Trump pardoned ex-Honduran president. Anyway, I'm done with that. I don't even know what to do with that. Guys, why aren't we at 200,000 likes? We could have done that by now. We could have done that by now for sure.
That was wild.
I am very mad and I'm pissed off. I was trying to get my little running medallion on my Apple Watch today, and you have to run 3.1 miles. I saw what I thought was 3.1. My sweaty ass got off of the treadmill and got in the shower, and I was like, where's my medallion? Why haven't I got my medallion? I was at 3.01. I was so close.
I love you so much.
But I don't want to run again because I can feel it in my chest right now how much fucking running that I just did. So I feel like I'm going to have to do a cheat workout session after I get off where I'm walking around because what the fuck?
You know, we could start going for walks together with our Apple Watches. We could connect and go for walks together.
Did you Google that?
I just kind of wanted to tell you a joke.
It wasn't funny.
Your mama.
Men aren't funny. Okay, let's see what I can get to before I end, since, you know, whatever.
But guys, there's 232 people in here. If we all just take a moment and just fill up that little heart screen once, we can keep moving forward. Guys, make sure if you have not checked out Monty on the Tubes, links are also in the bio, and the Purple Witch app as well. Let's keep doing all the wonderful things.
Chris said, just shake your arm.
That's crazy.
Let's be fitness buddies.
Yeah. We go for walks together.
Yeah. We'll sync our watches. Supreme Court allows Alabama.
We sync other things.
Allows Alabama to use congressional map favoring Republicans in this year's election. The Supreme Court on Tuesday allowed Alabama to use a congressional map favoring Republicans in this year's elections, blocking a lower court ruling that the redistricting plan intentionally discriminates against Black people. The justices granted the state's emergency appeal to use a map it adopted 3 years ago that has a majority Black population in just one of its 7 congressional districts. The 3 liberal judges dissented. The High Court order is the latest development in a redistricting frenzy that is part of a broader push by President Donald Trump to try to hold on to Republicans' slim House majority in the November elections. If your policies were so good, previous caller and Republicans, if your policies were so good, you could win just on the merits. Isn't that what you guys are all about? On the merits? Apparently, you can't. It comes a day before an important deadline that Republican Governor Kay Ivey had already extended in the state's desire to use the map in special primary elections in August. The state's Republican leadership went to the Supreme Court last week, the day after a 3-judge court refused to let the state use its preferred map. The lower court had ordered Alabama to use the same court-drawn map it used in the 2024 elections that sent 2 black Democrats to Congress. Black residents comprise a majority or close to it in 2 of the state's 7 congressional districts. The Supreme Court decision gives cover to Alabama and others to deliberately and openly discriminate against black voters without fear of any consequence. The court's shameless decision to reinstate an intentionally racially discriminatory map defies any thoughtful or consistent application of the law, Dual Ross, director of litigation for the NAACP Legal Defense Fund, said on Tuesday night. He said the fund will continue to throw all of our resources into the fight to ensure that Alabama voters have the fair representation that they deserve. Shortly after the court acted, Ivey confirmed the state will use the map in special congressional primaries in 4 districts on August 11th. The U.S. Supreme Court confirmed what I have said all along, and that is that Alabama knows our state, our people, and our districts best. Today's decision is a win for the people of Alabama and our elections. Alabama is doing our part to keep America strong, and I am proud our state continues to fight the fight to ensure activists do not get the final say. So you mean voters. Activists. By activists, you mean other voters in Alabama. I was trying to see if they had some of the dissent. Okay, in dissent, Justice Sonia Sotomayor chastised her colleagues for enabling what promised to be a chaotic election held under a never-before-used congressional map that intentionally discriminates against black Alabamians. The use of the court-ordered map led to the 2024 election of U.S. Representative Shomari Figures, a black Democrat. The map put into place by Tuesday's order gives the GOP an opportunity to reclaim the South Alabama seat. Now remember, as we always say, they're trying to cheat. You don't give up. You keep fighting, you get yourselves up, and you get yourselves to that voting place. You make sure you take 3 fucking people with you when you do. Keep fighting. I want you guys to keep doing that. John Roberts has been looking at tearing that shit apart for years, and now he's getting a chance. So what I'm going to do for the rest of it, since this is what I was going to get into anyway, I know this is local, but we're going to talk about it, because I want to show it as part of a broader whole of elections to show you why you need to pay attention if you do vote. This is from I told you guys I was going to watch it, the Republican primary for the gubernatorial race in Colorado from their debates last night. We have 3 Republicans running for the primary for the gubernatorial race for the Republican side. We have 2 on the Democratic side. Their debate is tomorrow night. I will go over them as well. But we have Barbara Kirkmeyer, who used to be my congressional representative until we got split up into a different congressional district. Victor Marks, who a lot of you have seen because his clips are going viral on TikTok and Twitter. And we have Scott Bottoms, who you guys might not have seen. He's just as crazy as Victor Marks, if not more. Now, the reason Broader Holes is crazy, the reason I want to bring it up is a governor's race or a gubernatorial race. Those are big. Those are headline making. People know about those. But what I want to point out to you is these people, crazy people like Victor Marks and Scott Bottoms, will run in the lower elections that you're not paying attention to, and I need you to pay attention to them. These people run for your city council, for your school board, for your water board, your energy board. They run for these things, which is why you need to pay attention to every name on the ballot, and if they are running unopposed, you need to either run yourself or find somebody else you can promote to run against them. So I'm going to show you this. I have a few. Victor Marks, I have 1 on. I'm not going to give too many on Victor Marks because we might do a deep dive. But Kyle Clark, our wonderful, no, you can't have him, Kyle Clark from 9 News, was moderating the debate with Marshall Zellinger. And Victor Marks has said that him and his foundation have saved tens of thousands, if not hundreds of thousands of children. Now, Kyle Clark has asked for the proof of that. He has not been given the proof of that. And he was asked again last night. Do you have proof of this extraordinary life that you supposedly lived? W's to Oh My for the $5. He said, I don't put a message because I'm already yapping on Twitch. That's fair. Okay. I see you. W's to you. Thank you so much. So, yeah, this is Victor Marx, not it. And when I tell you that this man is not okay, I mean it. I'll just.
You claim that you've been all around the world armed to the teeth rescuing women and children from captivity, that you've stopped human smugglers at the Mexico border and made them pay a price, that you as a civilian called in a U.S. military airstrike that killed 70 ISIS fighters, that you were the first American into Gaza during the war with Israel, that you've done 150 high-risk missions and every one has been a success.
He said he called in a strike as an American citizen. He said he was the first U.S. citizen in Gaza after. Okay.
In a U.S. military airstrike that killed 70 ISIS fighters, that you were the first American into Gaza during the war with Israel, that you've done 150 high-risk missions and every one has been a success. You told me last week that it's all true and that you don't need to prove it to anyone. But you're talking to voters now. How should voters decide whether you've lived one of the most extraordinary lives in human history or whether you're a liar and a fraud?
Can we back up to her for 1
Yes, he said ISIS spiders, Eli.
second?
Please answer the question, sir.
I will.
By the way, I don't have that video, but both Barbara Kirkmeyer and Scott Bottoms have said they do not want to see anybody endorse this man, that even if he somehow wins the Republican primary, they are not going to stand behind him, which is interesting because they usually fall in line, right? And they're like, no, we'll support your candidacy now. No, they're absolutely not doing that.
But this, I'll make a little informal complaint. The folks at home don't want to hear about her past and what she did. That's not going to make a lick of difference to those who are having trouble putting food on the table, Kyle, paying their electricity bill, having to try to figure out how they send their kids to school.
Sir, how much?
Objection, not answering the question, which Kyle Clark is going to take care of, but actually he's saying that her talking about her record as a politician doesn't matter, when it does. It absolutely does matter how she voted, on what bills she voted in the state. That does matter.
Time do you plan to burn before
these-
you answer the question of whether you
Sure.
tell the truth?
Do I tell the truth?
How should voters discern whether you have had one of the most extraordinary lives in human history or whether you are a liar and a fraud?
Well, simply go back. I have 20 years.
I don't know if Barbara Kirkmeyer will. As a Coloradan, which the biggest thing I have against her is that she called us Coloradoans, which is not what we are. We're Coloradans, but I don't know that she will. She's pretty Republican.
Of videos and documentation and people. We just had our head of security in Iraq call in a video today. The proof is just in people and what we document. I can't help it if I've had an extraordinary life. I'm an ordinary fella. And starting from my childhood all the way to now, me standing up on a stage running for governor, Reagan, I said I was going to talk about you. Come, seats. This little dog, she's going to go bite you right now, Kyle. She was in Syria and Iraq. So is she lying too?
Well, the dog's not running for governor. You're running for governor, and you spent
Oh,
precious
she
little
kinda
time
is.
answering the question other than to say that folks have to take the word of you and your staff for your accomplishments.
No, I said thousands
Mr. Bottoms, a
of
question for you
people, Kyle.
as we approach closings here.
Thousands of people that you did not provide the evidence for. Guys, I watched this live with my brother, and I both was seething and also laughing my ass off more than I've ever been before. W's to Drea for the $2 super chat. You said, for your suffering having to watch such. It's my job. Thank you. I appreciate you, though. It's my job. Okay. Next, let's go to the craziness that is Scott Bottoms. Now, while Victor Marx is, you can hear it in his voice and you can see it, that man is unwell, Scott Bottoms speaks a lot more coherently, and that's more dangerous because Scott Bottoms thinks that there is a giant pedophilic ring running the Democratic legislature at the state level in Colorado. He believes this. He's going to be confronted about the fact that he said that there were 50,000, I had the number wrong, that there were 50,000 Tren de Aragua gangsters in Colorado, even though that defies the stats of known Tren de Aragua members in the entire United States. And he's going to admit that he just conflated it with all Venezuelans in the state who had asylum claims. And he admits that. He just doesn't care.
Mr. Bottoms, you have claimed without offering evidence that there are 45,000 to 50,000 Tren de Aragua gang members in Colorado, mostly in rural areas, which is odd because that's 10 to 20 times the worldwide membership of the gang, according to the U.S. government.
Oh, I'm sorry, worldwide. Not even just U.S. I was incorrect. Not just the U.S., but it's more than the worldwide membership is the number he's claiming.
You also say that sheriffs in Colorado are preparing to deputize people who have special forces experience to go and fight this foreign army. I reached out to every single sheriff in Colorado. Not one said you're telling the truth. A couple of them laughed you right out of the room. Do you stand by your claim, and will you finally present your evidence tonight?
Yeah, this is the first half of your question, the 45,000. So I actually went back because I was told that by 2 ICE agents. So I went back and I talked to federal.
Scott Bottoms is one of our favorite kind of people. He is the people we talk to, hi Mia, that we talk to all the time. Well, I spoke to this cop, and I spoke to this ICE agent, and I spoke to this person. But again, Kyle Clark has already made known that they reached out to the people he said he supposedly talked to and could not get factually based information on that. But sure.
2 ICE agents. So I went back and I talked to federal authorities, actually this week, federal officers, and they said I got that wrong. That what they said was actually happening is 45,000 Venezuelans came directly to Denver and then applied for asylum, and they said there's probably 60 or 70,000 Venezuelans, not cartel, but just Venezuelans. And
Yeah, bitch, we knew that. You didn't. You lied about it.
I said, okay, so I'm going to have to go on Kyle Clark's show and say that differently. And they said, but we do know there's a few thousand cartel in the state of Colorado. I got that one wrong. I misunderstood what the ICE agent was saying, so I checked it on this week. Now, going to all the 65,000,
Now, this part's great, because I'm a word person. So he said, I was wrong. I fucked up. Now, I am a words person. The way words and sentences are structured is very important to me. He's going to try to move around what Kyle Clark said, and Kyle Clark's going to catch him on that and say, that's not what I said, because it's not what he said.
65 sheriffs in all the counties. I've talked to a couple that said you never called them. You want me to give you some names?
We emailed every single sheriff's office multiple times. We heard back from 40 of the more than 60 sheriffs, and the sheriffs that we heard back from did not support your claims. The one sheriff...
Okay, so he said we emailed every single one. We heard back from 40, and of the ones we heard back from, nobody supported your claim. That's what Kyle said.
That you name-checked in your lengthy response to us. Teller County Sheriff Jason Meixel, who was a previous candidate for governor, said you're confused about things you see on the news.
Scott Bottoms named this sheriff. Said, speak to this guy. Kyle Clark said, we did. And he said, you're confused about the things you see on the news.
Teller County Sheriff Jason Meixel, who was a previous candidate for governor, said you're confused about things you see on the news, which I believe you just confirmed when you said you couldn't tell the difference between the 45,000 Venezuelans who came to Colorado and 45,000 Tren de Aragua gang members, which do not exist in the whole wide world.
So I'm right about the fact that not all 65 told you that.
Absolutely. What I said was that
15 didn't.
What I said was that we...
Okay. So he said, I was right that all 65 didn't tell you that. 15 didn't tell you that. Wait, what did Kyle say about who he reached out to? Can we remember, class? What did Kyle say about who he reached out to? They reached out to upwards of 60, and 40 responded. He didn't say 15 didn't tell me that or told me the opposite. 15 didn't reach out.
Couldn't find one who says you're telling the truth.
That's a funny way to spin that.
Would you like to name the ones who support your claim?
I don't have to now. You just did. 15.
No, those are 15 that didn't respond, sir. That...
Can Kyle... I'm sorry, I'm having a blast. Kyle asks him, can you name me the ones the sheriff's departments that support your claim. Scott Bottoms says you just did the 15. No, dumb fuck. Those are the ones that didn't respond.
Who says you're telling the truth?
Hold on, I'll go back.
That exists in the whole wide world.
So I'm right about the fact that not all 65 told you that.
Absolutely. What I said was that
15 didn't.
What I said was that we couldn't find one who says you're telling the truth.
That's a funny way to spin that.
Would you like to name the ones who support your claim?
I don't have to now. You just did 15.
No, those are 15 that didn't respond, sir. That's not how math and logic work.
Jesus Christ.
I love Kyle Clark so much. Jesus Christ. Again, this is just to point out, I know it's funny, I know it's ridiculous. It is just to point out that these people will run in your local city councils and your school boards where you're not paying attention. It's easier to pay attention to them here because they're in gubernatorial races that are big for the state. You need to pay attention to them when they run in the lower. Holy crap, that man is unwell. Okay, let me change this. And then I have 2 more videos from that, and then we will get out of here. Guys, and I appreciate you guys. Thank you so much for completing the goal out today. Thank you for all of the fucking support and the likes and the viewership and everything today. You guys have been fucking fantastic, and I don't know what other words to use but to thank you enough. I really, really can't thank you enough for that. So Scott Bottoms, back to Scott Bottoms, and then I have one from Kirkmeyer. Kirkmeyer, honestly, I don't like her stances or her policies, but she's probably going to win her primary. And it makes more sense because she's just kind of a regular Republican. She doesn't agree with the idea, because Scott Bottoms and Victor Marx have both said they would completely pardon. Well, okay, let me backtrack. Scott Bottoms said he would completely pardon Tina Peters. Victor Marx said, I think Donald Trump's already doing that. And Kyle Clark was like, he can't do that. Dumb fuck. Barbara Kirkmeyer said she would not pardon her. So there is differences in their policy. Barbara Kirkmeyer, although she is a Republican with those same stances, she does try to distance herself from Trump. She truly does. So she's probably going to win her primary. But this is Scott Bottoms again. He has a friend by the name of Joel Oltmann, who is a staunch anti-Semite. He gets asked... They asked Scott Bottoms, are you going to put him into a position in your cabinet or appoint him a position? His answer is interesting. I don't know if we catch Barbara Kirkmeyer's laugh. Now, I don't think she was laughing at it like it was a joke. I think she was laughing like, oh my God, he just said that on stage. So,
Mr. Bottoms, while we are on the topic of...
And I apologize that this is as high as I can get the volume. Oh, no, it's not. But that's not going to help much. But this is as high as I can get the volume to go. I will mute myself while it plays unless I have to intervene because, like, I'm sorry. But the audio is terrible.
Religion and politics. You said that you are deeply honored to have the endorsement of your good friend Joe Oltmann, the MAGA podcaster who has called for the execution by hanging of Colorado's governor, attorney general, and secretary of state, who he calls synagogue of Satan Jews. You said that Mr. Oltmann would have made a great governor himself.
This is his friend. Called for the hanging of our governor. I don't even like our governor. Called for the hanging of our governor and our attorney general, Phil Weiser, who is running for governorship as well. They're Jewish. Called them Satan synagogue Jews. This is his friend.
And you endorsed his failed run to become the Colorado Republican Party chairman. Do you also believe that Colorado's governor, attorney general, and secretary of state should be arrested, tried, and hanged? And do you also believe that they are synagogue of Satan Jews?
Joe Oltmann and I disagree very strongly on the nation of Israel, very, very strongly. This is our biggest dividing point. We've gone around and around about it. I don't have a problem with the Jewish people at all. I also do know that there are indictments coming down pretty soon for Secretary of State Griswold and Attorney General Weiser.
So
there's not. There's talk within like Steve Bannon MAGAverse about it, but there's not.
Just to clarify what you're saying, you believe that you have insider information that there will be a federal sedition indictment against Colorado's Secretary of State and Attorney General, sedition being a charge punishable by death. I just want to clarify, that's what you're saying?
Yes, treason. And the indictments are probably going to come down around mid-summer. There's also 4 other investigations.
Do you share...
Look out for midsummer, Coloradans.
Your good friend Joe Oltman's view that they should be tried and, if convicted, executed?
No, I'm not against the death penalty. I'm strongly in favor of the death penalty. But from the things that I've seen in the conversations they have, I don't think that it warrants that level.
And a last question on this. If you're elected governor, would Mr. Oltman have a role in your administration?
Assuming it's not around Jewish people, probably.
I think some folks are going to find that funnier than others.
Will you give him a job? As long as it's not around Jewish people. Yeah, that's a candidate for governor on the Republican side in Colorado right now. That's what I'm saying. So I know, Mia, that's why I put it in the chat what I did. Because although Victor Marx is certifiably motherfucking insane, I think we need to do both of them at the same time before we get to the June 30th primaries in Colorado. Because he speaks better. He's just as insane, if not worse. So, remember, these people run for your local councils too. Just remember that. All right, and then I have one on Kirkmeyer. After the crazy that we just saw, it's not going to seem as bad. But she was asked, she helped lead a movement for the northern part of Colorado to secede from the rest of Colorado. She led a movement to do that. To try not to secede from the Union, but to secede the northern part of Colorado from the southern part of Colorado. And does she still support the fact that she did that?
Ms. Kirkmeyer, your history includes leading an effort in 2013 to have northern Colorado secede from the state, meaning break away from the state. It failed. And since then, I've heard you say you'd do it again because putting it on the ballot was simply listening to your constituents. Why should voters trust you to lead a state that you tried to leave?
So thank you for the question. And I actually didn't try to lead. I did listen to the voters. And
seceding from the state would be leaving the state. That's how that would work.
The people in my county who we asked them if they wanted to, they asked us if we should be pursuing it. Us meaning the Board of County Commissioners. They wanted to have a survey. We said we would just put it on the ballot. The ballot was basically to say, should we pursue succeeding from the state? Not should we succeed from the state, but should we pursue that? It went down, so we didn't pursue it any further. But here's the thing.
It was voted down, so you didn't pursue it any further because it was voted down. If it was voted forward, would you have continued to support that?
Thing. Our voters at the time, my constituents were saying that there is a huge gap between rural and urban here. At that point, we weren't getting our roads even snow plowed after 10 o'clock at night.
Bitch, we don't get those here either. And I'm in the urban area. Like, I don't know what you're talking about. And again, I am offended by you anyway because you called us Coloradoans, which is not what we are. We're Coloradans. Don't fucking say it wrong. And she said it twice. But if you know anything about CDOT and side streets, nobody gets their shit snow plowed. Nobody. The main streets do. And the rest of us are fucked.
Through the next morning, we were having problems where there were utility.
Also, yes, Jamie, they are saying succeed. It's secede.
Issues for rural utilities, but municipal issues. Municipal utilities didn't have to do the same thing. Grants that should have been coming to rural Colorado, to my county in specific.
She's the most normal one, Mia. That's the crazy part. I told y'all. Everybody, MAGA specifically, not just you guys, I know you believe me, but MAGA and Republicans, you sit here and you say, Colorado's this blue state in the sanctuary cities. There is so much fucking red here. We are purple. There is so much insanity in this state. I don't think you guys understand what we're fighting against here. Like, Jesus.
Were not coming to us. They were going to another.
My water's filtered, Jamie. It's not me.
Other area. So even then, Governor Hickenlooper said it was probably a good thing that happened for the state, and it made us stronger. So anytime my constituents ask me to put something on the ballot, and they want to have their voice, and that is their voice because they get to vote, I am going to do that.
Now, that's the only thing where I am fine with her winning her primary, right? Not the whole shebang, not the whole enchilada in November, but I'm fine with her being the one who is on the Republican ticket for the gubernatorial race because she is still a Republican in that way. Now, as crazy as it is to jump on board with people who wanted to secede, if they wanted it on the ballot, they wanted it on the ballot. Like, that's fine. She also is not for withholding funds from the constituents either, which I think is fine. Like, Ari, help.
I mean, I'm no longer in that state, but to answer Jamie's question, what's in the water? A lot of fluoride.
Yeah.
It's
And if you're in
like,
Commerce
I don't know if
City,
it's-
hard water and lime.
Yeah, it's hard water, lime scale, and you've got a lot of fluoride, which, if y'all haven't realized, if you grew up in Colorado, you will typically have very discolored teeth. And treatment doesn't always help with it. So anyways, I'm loving all three of them. They're all a bunch of fucking wackadoodles. I want to go down the rabbit hole on all three now. Can we just look at every Republican candidate? Yeah. Obviously she'd be last because the other ones are just fucking more interesting.
So out there, yeah.
But,
no, I'm with it.
I gotta be honest, guys. Like, okay, for those who think that Colorado is a blue state, like forever true blue state, to be clear, it's only been blue for the president since 2008. Before 2008, it was red. And then even if you look at now, half of their representatives in the House are Republican.
Yeah.
It's split down the middle. It is a very purple state. If you think of it like North Carolina, it always goes red for the president. Well, since 2008 as well, surprisingly. But they have a blue governor, right? But the difference is there, the majority of their House seats are all Republican. It's not split like Colorado is. Colorado is far more purple than North Carolina. All right? Like,
it's a mess
don't
here.
get it.
Yes, and those are the top three, Mia. Those ones made it to the tippy top of the Republican seats.
I want all three of them to be on the final ballot at the end. I want all three of them to be in November so that they can split the vote of all the crazies.
They probably still will. People are going to do write-ins. You can.
Colorado doesn't recognize write-ins like that, though.
No, but they will. I don't care. They can put them in there. That doesn't mean we count them. That's not my business.
Oh, yeah, I was going to say, like, sorry, that triggered me with the Spidey sense.
No, you're absolutely right. They don't recognize them.
Yeah, they don't. I lost a friend in 2016 over being like, you threw away your vote because she wrote in Bernie Sanders, and she's like, I don't care that Colorado doesn't recognize it. I'm like, okay, well, fuck you too.
All right, I'm going to let her finish saying whatever she was saying.
You said you didn't try to leave. I just want to confirm in this forum, how did you vote on that?
I voted for it.
Thank you.
To pursue it and to look at it.
To pursue leaving the state, to seceding from the state.
There are many steps that you have to go in place to do that. So again, I would listen to my constituents and follow the will of the voters.
Thank you,
and that's what I did.
Okay, Barbara.
And your whole little community would have failed financially on its own as its own independent state. Congratulations.
Yeah. But, you know, it's fine. She's the most sane one out of the three.
No, it's insane. That's just it's a crazy statement that even has to be made that this one person is the most sane, but at the same time, I hoped that she loses the primary because I like the other two idiots. Please be insane. Please be insane. Please go to the actual gubernatorial level of a debate between the Democratic nominee.
Imagine Michael Bennett debating Victor Marx. I don't even know what that would look like.
I imagine it's going to be like a of Hillary and Trump.
Yeah. That's the thing. Michael Bennett would do better in a debate with facial expressions than Phil Weiser might. Well, I'm going to see. I'm interested to see how Phil Weiser does tomorrow. I am interested to see. So I'm undecided.
According to my haters, I'd get my facial expressions would get me kicked out of court. So
yeah, I could run for office though. People like personality.
Like perfect. Yeah, like they like personality, right? He means what he says. He speaks with his full chest. He doesn't use politically correct terminology, and that's why we like him.
He has
because he's an asshole.
He has aura.
Oh, that's what I'll say next time. Like, next time somebody criticizes my facial expressions, I'll be like, wait, but don't you like it when people are honest? Isn't that why you voted for Trump?
Right?
If my mouth doesn't say it, my face will. So shouldn't you like that?
Wild. All right.
Okay, I gotta go eat food. I'll be in the comments. Bye.
Okay, bye. Okay. Thank you guys so much. I know we did not get through much of an outline, but we had conversations today, whether they were painful or not. So thank you guys so much. Thank you guys for knocking the fuck out of my goal and more. You do not know what it means to me. I appreciate it so very much. I'm actually going to use it to pay some bills today. So thank you. I'm not behind on bills, just so that MAGA knows. I'm not behind, but I am going to use it to pay some bills. So thank you. You're waiting patiently for my dirty talk time. You know what? Where was, what are we at? This entire time we've been here, and you guys couldn't get me to 200,000 likes? You guys really want me to bend you over and spank you for not hitting 200,000 likes? DJ Bookie, your fingers weren't doing it today for me? I wasn't enough for you today to do that? What do you need from me? Because I think I have some instructions for you, and it involves getting down on your knees. I'll even get you a knee pad, darling. All right. We didn't hit 200,000 likes, but that is okay. I appreciate you guys. I'm very sorry, Mom. But I appreciate you guys so very much today. I appreciate you for completing out the gift goal, and for getting to the likes that we did get to. Man! Insight. That erection. I said what I said. So thank you guys. I appreciate it. We will come back tomorrow. Maybe we'll get through more of the outline. We will see. I do have stuff on Epstein again in way of Pam Bondi after the fact that I wanted to get to. We just haven't really found a time. And I wanted to go over Trump's fucking podcast interview thing he did last night. Because it was something. It was something. So hopefully we can talk about that tomorrow. If not, we'll just have callers like we did today, and that is okay. That's exactly what I want you to do. I want you to get excited. You guys have something to look forward to for tomorrow. But I will be back tomorrow. That is YouTube and Twitch as well. I'll be back tomorrow at 10 a.m. Mountain Time. Are we going to raid Queen?
We are. I also want to tell people that tonight that I will be on Ari's stream at 6 p.m. You will get to see me not only twice, but 3 times today. And maybe if you follow me around, you'll see me much longer, you stalker.
So YouTube and Twitch, I want you guys to know, go to Mermaid Ari 0. Mermaid Ari 0. I will type it in the chat. And you can find her. That is where that debate will be tonight. That is where Ari does all of her debates and her conversations. Thank you, Justin. Thank you, Eli. So make sure you do that. TikTok, we need you guys to be in there as well as tappers to make sure you do all of the things that you do here that you do for Ari, okay? I want to make sure we are doing that. Go support 2 fantastic women doing politics. That's what we need to do. That's what I want to see be done.
Also, quick poll, is it cringe if I wear the same shirt as Ari does?
Do you guys have the same shirt?
No, the same colored shirt.
I don't think so. I don't think so.
Okay. Because I messaged her, I'm like, what are you wearing right now? Should we wear the same shirts or would it be cringe? She's like, I don't think so.
I don't think so. Now I'm going to point it out in the Twitch chat. I just want you to know that that's going to happen.
As you fucking, I want everyone to point it out now that I said it. That's the whole point.
So YouTube and Twitch, I hope we see you there. I'm going to say goodbye to you, and I hope I see you